on
a wee
Monday.
lie, and you're
Bit of
working
a
away
lie.
though, aren't you?
Yeah, back to work on Monday.
Okay, well,
Big work.
thanks for keeping us
Cheers, Greg. Enjoy
entertained
it.
all week. Great stuff. Thanks,
No
Marty.
bother.
Take care of yourself. All right, that's Marty Friel. You're off tonight. Tell me they're not having you in tonight.
Off tonight, Greg.
All right,
Yeah.
good man, enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, then, it is 9 o'clock. Our Friday panel is going to be joining me very shortly. But first, let's get a news update, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The owners of the former Applegreen store in Creeslaw, where 10 people lost their lives in an explosion, are set to lodge a planning application for a new service station close to the site. Annette and Danny Martin Lafferty are seeking permission to demolish an existing dwelling adjacent to the site of the explosion and subsequent development works. Alex Riley reports.
Mr. and Mrs. Lafferty have given notice that they are seeking to demolish an existing dwelling in Creeslaw next to the site of the Applegreen station, where an explosion killed 10 people on October 7th, 2022. Plans include the development of a new building which will incorporate a shop, post office, off-licence, deli, fuel pumps, car wash, laundrette kiosk, ATM and other works. Previously, on Commission Planola overturned Donegal County Council's decision to grant permission to Vivo Shell Limited for the development of a shop and filling station on the site of the explosion. It was on the back of an appeal lodged by a number of bereaved families. The body said the proposed development would be out of character with its surroundings and seriously detract from the architectural character and setting of Creeslaw, as well as being contrary to the county development plan.
There's renewed calls for a review of trees along roadsides and in housing estates in Donegal following the recent storm Amy. Councillor Thomas Sean Devine claims in one area during the storm, residents were forced to remove damaged trees themselves before they fell on a parked vehicle. Donegal County Council says there is a process in place whereby works to cut trees are carried out and the landowner is retrospectively invoiced. Councillor Devine says more action is needed as it's unacceptable that people's lives are being put in danger.
We may have to look at that young fellow lost his life in Lufford there on the previous storm. You know, these things needs to be put in place now, that they're cut down, that this doesn't happen. You know, a lot of dangers to along our roads. We see them every day rotting and they're still there. There's trees hanging over electric wires that needs to be removed as well.
The Taoiseach will host a meeting of ministers from north and south of the border in Dublin today. The North-South Ministerial Council will gather at Farmley in the Phoenix Park. They'll discuss EU, US and EU-UK trade, emergency planning, gender-based violence, storm protection and cross-border infrastructure projects. Micheál Martin will hold talks with Northern Ireland First Minister Michelle O'Neill and Deputy First Minister Emma Little-Pengelly before the council meets. And a man is due in court today after being arrested as part of an investigation into drugs criminality linked to the INLA. The 62-year-old faces a number of charges, including possession and supply of drugs. He's due before Derry Magistrates Court today. A 53-year-old man, also arrested yesterday, has been released on bail to allow for further police inquiries. Finally, for weather, mainly dry and cloudy today with just limited bright or sunny spells. Highest temperatures of 12 to 14 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, good morning.
We all want to restore our world's natural environment. But where do we even start? How about right here? With SuperValue Tidy Towns, we can reimagine our local areas. Every time we rewild, every time we strengthen biodiversity, every time we support our SuperValue Tidy Towns volunteers, that's real action. Because at SuperValue, we believe that every local action makes a global impact. SuperValue, real food, real people, real action.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning, and you're very welcome along to Friday's 9 till Noon Show, the 17th of October 2025. It's just approaching 4 minutes past 9, and we're with you for the next 3 hours. And for the first hour, we have our Friday panel. I'll introduce them to you very, very shortly. But I want to invite you to be part of the conversation as well. Your view is incredibly important, as you know. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number. If you're listening from outside of the Republic, it's 003538666025,000. If you want to give us a call, 074 9125,000 or email comments at highlandradio.com. And of course, if you want to watch the programme, you can do so on your smart TV or Fire Stick, on your on the YouTube app, Highland Radio Ireland. We're across Facebook and on X as well. Right. Let us say good morning to Ms. Grania Hines, member of Letterkenny Active Retirement. Good morning to you, Grania. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good morning, Greg. Good morning,
Great
listeners.
to see you
Nice to
again.
talk to you.
Councillor Troy Gallagher, Labour Party councillor in Islington, London. Good morning, Troy.
Morning, Greg. Good morning, listeners. Thanks for the invite.
No, it's great to have you with us. And Lorraine Thompson, CEO of the Donegal Youth Services. Hi, how are you getting on, Lorraine?
Good, Greg. Good morning to you. Good morning, Grania. Good morning, Troy.
Okay, let's get on with it. And this day week, the people of Ireland will go to the polls to elect the country's 10th president. Catherine Connolly enjoys a significant lead in the latest polls at 38% over her rival Heather Humphreys on 20%. Jim Gavin remains on the ballot paper, of course. He's polling around 5%, while 6% said they'll spoil their vote. So there was a big campaign that continues encouraging people to spoil their vote, but that's running at 6% at the moment. I'll start with you, Grania. Is the race all but over? And if so, what went so wrong for Heather Humphreys?
Well, I think she was put in a box with the government, the present government, and a lot of people have issues on that. And I think she is suffering the backlash. I don't think it's quite fair. I think she should be regarded as her own person, her own history, and not all the time be blamed for what the government did. As we all know, the president has little influence anyway in any decisions that are made. Now, they can be a unifying voice for people and the division in the country today. And I think that's the most important thing that Heather has emphasised. And that is that people get together as groups, as communities, North and South, Catholic and Protestant, immigrants and nationals. And it's unfortunate that what's going on at the moment is a division. And I find it very hard to contain myself. And I don't think it helps that Catherine is not answering the questions she's asked. There are some very serious issues that I would bring up regarding Catherine, and that is her trip to Syria. I myself have lived in a country where there was a dictator, and there is no way that you will meet people who will speak their minds when you're being conducted around by the dictator's friends.
Well, what is the issue that you have with that particularly?
I have a terrible big issue with it. First of all, fact-finding is very difficult for somebody who goes to a country who cannot speak the language, hasn't got somebody with her as an interpreter, a reliable interpreter. I know myself that those Palestinians that she says she met, there is no way they could speak out in any way freely, because the people around them, they would have disappeared by the next day.
Yeah, but that's
and I just find that naive.
Yeah, but you're asking her to prove a negative or something similar to that. I mean, you're concluding that whom she spoke to weren't able to speak freely or speak the language. It's a big reach then to expect her to adequately respond to really what's an unsubstantiated
let her
opinion.
Admit that obviously going out, not knowing the language, meeting people. There were no Palestinians who disagreed with Assad were there, because most of them would have fled. So she shouldn't have been that naive.
Let me bring you back to
Heather. Think that she would get a definite and a truthful response from the people there. They were frightened people.
Okay.
Their lives were at risk if they opened their mouths.
Do you think you could go to America now and get truthful responses
perhaps,
from people?
Yes, perhaps. But I'm only dealing with this question.
Of course,
Syria.
but I'm trying to broaden it out. I just want to ask you a question about Heather Humphreys. You talked about how she can't decouple herself from Fine Gael. It's Fine Gael that selected her. It's Fine Gael that put her forward. It's Fine Gael that are spending the money in the campaign. It's Fine Gael that are putting up the posters. She was a minister in Fine Gael for years. How can she in any way decouple herself from Fine Gael just because she's running for this position?
Oh, I think she's a very forthright and honest person, and she's an Ulster woman. She comes from a rural community. There are so many positives, and I think she could be good influence in trying to get a united Ireland. I think it's very important that we recognise other voices in the community. And I just find that she's like, if I was asked who would you like as a neighbour, who would you talk over the wall to? And I think I would say Heather. I'm not, actually campaigning for her, but that's my personal feeling.
This
I
is
think
exactly
she's kind,
we invite.
she's empathic.
We invite people on for their opinions, and we'll come back to you on it as well, because this is a sort of it's not sort of three separate interviews too. It is a debate. Troy, listening to Grania makes a passionate, strong argument there. I don't know if you want to sort of reflect on anything that Grania's been saying, but more generally speaking, is the race done as well?
I think that where we are at this point, there's a huge lead for Catherine Connolly. I think that it's going to be difficult, but that being said, there's still a week left, and there's still quite a big portion who haven't made up their minds, and that includes whether they're going to vote. But what I would say is that, I really think that this presidential election has been a real masterclass for party leaders and political leaders on not how to select presidential selections and run an election. I've no doubt in 5 years' time this will be discussed in political textbooks at UCD and Trinity for those doing politics, just as the 1990 presidential election was, where Charles Haughey and Alan Jukes made catastrophic errors throughout that election. And it's really it's frightening to see how lessons still haven't been learned. Party leaders using heavy-handedness, trying to utilise conventions to put forward their candidates or have their candidates already, and also not going out to have quality scoping out of candidates across Ireland from all walks of life. They all knew that this date was coming. They all knew that Michael D was standing down. They had plenty of time to scope out good quality candidates to put before the people to give a representative. I agree with what Grania said about what the president should be. It's obviously it's a constitutional symbolic role, but it's one to bring people together. It should be a unifying voice, an engagement with the diaspora, engagement with all regions across the whole of Ireland. I really think there has to be a massive review taken by all parties across on how they select candidates and how they run future presidential elections.
Well, Fine Gael did all right, though, didn't they? I mean, Heather Humphreys stepped up, obviously, because of circumstances outside of Fine Gael's control. Sinn Féin had their options, but they decided to go for United Left candidate. Really, is it only Fianna Fáil that really you're talking about here now?
No. Can we take a step back, Greg, if you don't mind? With Mairead McGuinness, Fine Gael chose Mairead McGuinness. It was all Mairead McGuinness. There was a few, Francis Fitzgerald, one or two others in the background. But even with Mairead McGuinness' health problems, that the due diligence should have taken that out at the start before she was actually fully endorsed about going forward. And that's for Fine Gael. For Sinn Féin, Mary Lou had the whole summer to decide who she was going to go for. There was a couple of months of we're waiting for the moment we're going to have a big reveal, and I think Giles Burns at one weekend in August was mooted under the guise of a game changer text that went out, and everyone was saying, who is this going to be? The suspicion around, even within the diaspora, is that it would have been Michelle O'Neill, would have been the candidate, and we're waiting to a certain time in September for her to complete some parts of her work before it was announced. And then all of a sudden, despite all that waiting, the next thing, the big announcement happens, and they're endorsing Catherine Connolly. So 5 months of
but it was a game changer, wasn't it? Look where she is at the polls. 95% of Sinn Féin voters are going to vote for Catherine Connolly, according to that poll. That's a game changer. It was the media that speculated. In relation to the man's
Jarlath Burns.
Jarlath Burns. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'll come back to you, Lorraine Thompson. How engaged are you? What's your overview of how things have been going and where they will go?
I think that the campaign obviously was definitely hurled onto the spotlight when we had a few choice candidates throwing their name in the ring in the early days. They probably brought it to people's attention very quickly. I do think obviously there's a lot of kind of political apathy around this. Michael D's been there for 14 years. It's a long time. Conscious of how maybe young people are perceiving this campaign. I personally am delighted to see two women, two very strong women, I have to say, both coming at it with their different strengths, different attributes. I think that either would do a good job and bringing those strengths into it. I always say that, anybody coming into a job brings their own experience, their own strengths. But they're coming into the job for the first time, so they have to be given a chance to embed into it. So obviously we've talked about Heather and her rural connections, which are really powerful. her previous experience in kind of diplomatic circles, I think, which is going to be very important in this role. Obviously, that moral conscience bit that Catherine will bring to it. So I can see strengths on both sides.
But to see this
I think it's interesting.
the diplomatic element of the presidency. I mean, we had the deputy leader of the government of this country calling President Trump a ghoul. We've sided with whatever Ursula von der Leyen wants in relation to Israel and their position and what have you. We're fanning around with the occupied territories bill because we don't want to pay off the American sort of Jewish community there. So, I mean, how could Lorraine, the president, how can we focus on sort of the diplomacy element of that role when the leaders of the government of this country, who actually do speak on behalf of us as elected representatives, run roughshod with diplomacy? I don't understand the focus on her and in terms of diplomacy, Lorraine.
No, I feel that if she's in the role, I think that that's something she could bring to it. Listen, it's not a perfect system. I mean, the world that we're living in at the minute, there are so many facets that I think Ireland as a small country is trying to navigate. Obviously, in the first instance, it's looking after our role, our neutrality. Can you have an opinion in this global stage that's not going to impact on the country? When we talk about all politics being local and the need for addressing the issues that the people face on a daily basis, unemployment, health issues, housing issues,
See,
all
the
of
thing
those
about
things.
that, this is the thing that I don't understand, right? About how representing the people. This is a position. Well, both of these ladies, by the way, are coming in with close on 250 grand a year. Okay. They're also going to be living in a massive house on 350 grand a year. They're never going to be of the people, are they? Or representative of the people, or understanding what it's like to, live the life that many of us have to live.
Oh no, Greg, I know I could disagree with you there.
Please,
like we
do.
all live in different areas in our lives, and if we're intelligent and we're committed to a cause, we know how people live. We know the hardships, we know the poverty. We try and do the best we can to help people. But you cannot blame the president for what the government does. You can blame him for the morality, the unity in a country, that he talks to all people, listens to all people, or she in this case, that they listen to all people, and they visit the poor, they visit the disadvantaged, the mentally ill. They have a remit to communicate with the people and to bring that message perhaps back to the government. They will have an influence. Like there's more done in closed rooms sometimes than on the oil floor. Like
It's quite empathy, and they
yes.
both have it. I
Yeah.
think they both have it.
Yeah, and I think that a president empathy is probably the number one thing that is needed. She needs to, and they have to be committed. It's not. I don't think anybody would choose it. I think you can see we only had two candidates. Well, we had three, and unfortunately, at least Fianna Fáil did step up and put somebody forward. I was disappointed that Sinn Féin didn't put somebody forward. That they decided no, they were going to just be part of an amalgamation. Because they are a strong party, they're very popular in the country, they have a good mandate, and there's lots of things they do very well. And I was very disappointed that they couldn't, from all the people they have, that they couldn't put somebody forward. Also with Labour, like I probably lean towards Labour as my politics. And I also was disappointed because they have some very good people who worked very hard for the country in the past.
It is they, obviously. Michael D. Higgins obviously has a Labour background, but the Labour Party's in a bit of disarray over the head of this anyway now, with people stepping away from the party and not happy with the endorsement of Miss Connolly.
Yeah, well, as a Labour supporter, I was very disappointed the fact that they couldn't stand up and say, we're Labour, this is our candidate, this is our morality.
Are any of you concerned about the triple lock? A lot of talk about neutrality and independence and all this type of stuff. Obviously Heather Humphreys is part of a government in favour of getting rid of the triple lock. Catherine Connolly wants it retained, but at the same time, she wouldn't use the powers that she has, she stated, to sort of refer refer the bill to the Supreme Court for her own reasons that she justifies that herself. But, you know, like, is it a ceremonial role or is it not? You know what I mean? We seem to cherry pick it depending on who you support, Troy.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a ceremonial role. And I think, all this, the candidates were going out doing their pitches across the country, talking about housing, talking about what they can do for small, medium business. The simple fact, Greg, is they can absolutely do nothing whatsoever about any of that. What they can do, though, and the power of the presidency is through diplomacy, is engage with the diaspora. And not one of the two candidates, or three if you include Jim Gavin, engaged with the diaspora, the global Irish diaspora.
Did Michael D. Higgins engage much in your time over
in
London?
2010, he came to London Irish Centre, myself and Councillor O'Sullivan and a few other ones, Irish leaders here.
That was before he was elected, though.
It was when he was a candidate. Yeah,
I'm on about when he was a president. Was there
he did.
an
he had
engagement over there?
The first state visit of an Irish president, but he had, and that was the big one. There was also engagements through embassy events too. He's also the patron of the Irish. Sorry, he's also the patron of ICAP, the Donegal charity that I'm the board member of. So he does use the presidential powers to enhance the soft power within the diaspora.
Okay.
For connection.
Lorraine, you talked about.
He's also the patron of Active Retirement Ireland.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thanks, Lorraine.
We have met him and talked to him, and he knows what we do, and he's very supportive.
Very good.
Indeed.
Lorraine, there is
we hope that will continue with the new president.
We shall see.
Whoever she is.
Yeah. All right, Lorraine, what will the turnout be? You know, you talked about the level of young people engaged in it. There's obviously a large percentage of the population as well that feel maybe that neither candidate is hovering over their sort of political views or their ideology, right? So that potentially could take quite a number of voters out of it to begin with, and then the apathy and everything else, could be low 30s for crying out loud.
I feel, yeah. I mean, people don't come out to vote for politicians that can make a difference. So in this instance, it's not hard to see why they wouldn't go out to vote, especially if the candidate maybe doesn't speak to them, if they're not paying attention. We haven't even talked about social media, algorithms, what are you seeing on your screen on a daily basis? For young people, like, are they even watching national
Well, I think in relation to that, this is where Catherine Connolly does have an advantage, because she went viral with the Keep You Uppies and the slam dunking and that kind of stuff. And that did flood the algorithms of TikTok and other platforms as well. Heather Humphreys perhaps, and maybe it's just not her style. I thought it was AI, I'll be completely honest with you, but it turns out it wasn't.
No, apparently it's not. It's her background, yeah.
I just really, because I've met her and I just didn't think she had that level of keep your peace and slam dunking, and her fair play to her.
Fair play. I do think, in terms of Michael D, in terms of his profile with young people, they probably view him as somebody who's that kind of cute figurehead, Mickey D, all of the different kind of cozy ways people refer to him. Would they be au fait with kind of what his role is? I mean, other than their kind of classes in school, what would they see in terms of their day-to-day living of what the President of Ireland does? It's probably minimal.
Yeah, I think the schools should take a much bigger interest in politics and educating children to think logically and to look at both sides. Like, I have looked, Catherine has some very good points. I wouldn't condemn her, and I'd be happy if she does win, but I prefer to have somebody who's down to earth, who answers questions. Now, Greg, if you ask me a question and I just give you a little smile and started to give you a lesson and a lecture, I don't think you'd be very happy. And I think the people who are interviewing the two of them are very nervous.
Well, I
think they're afraid of being sued by her campaign team.
Yes, but
they're afraid to say anything.
I also think that for the most part, every single effort has been made to find a story of dirt on the two of them. We haven't really got to know them very well. And every single question, and I don't prepare questions, right? I just ask questions that are in my head. But I know for a fact you do have on the big shows, your RT Morning Ireland this morning, for an example, they're structured questions and you have a team of researchers in there. And the aim is to catch the candidate out. The aim is for that viral moment. The aim is for that campaign
They're looking for
shifting
that
moment.
one thing that they can.
And I feel
quote.
honestly, that to some extent, the media is doing the public a disservice in getting to
agree.
know the people in the role that they
100%.
actually have.
100%.
Glad that Blair has been a female in that space, because if you come across too strong, too bolshy, too opinionated, you get a public persona then. And equally, if you come across too male, too meek-mannered, too soft, and I think women women definitely have to feel that a lot more than men. So that's why I'm glad it's two women against each other. And as I say, I think either of them will do a very good job in the role.
Yeah, it's like interesting. Jim Gavin, in one of the debates, he was gesturing with his hand outwards like this all of the time, and I was thinking to myself when I was watching it, if that was one of the women, I wonder how that would be framed the next day. Not necessarily in the mainstream media, but on social media.
To be slated for it, yeah.
Yeah, as if folks
by
are
both
very
men and
aggressive
women.
and dominate. Troy, do you want to?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm going to take a break. We're going to have another 5 minutes on this before we move on. Back after these.
Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Sweeney's Late Night Pharmacy in Letterkenny are celebrating their first anniversary with great offers in store. Boost your immune system with savings this week on natural supplements and probiotic remedies, all with gentle organic ingredients. Sweeney's Late Night Pharmacy at Crossview House, Port Road, Letterkenny. Open daily until 8 p.m, Fridays and Saturdays until 10.
Hi everyone, Michael English here. Don't forget to join me and my band for my annual dancing weekend this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. I'll be there Friday night with my band along with Jerry Guthrie and Stuart Moyne. Saturday night I'll be there again with my band, Jack Keogh and Kieran McAree. And Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m, join me and my band for an afternoon of dancing for all the family. That's this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. See you there.
Love great food, fashion, and making a difference? Join the team that puts customers first every single day. Just search M&S Careers and start your journey today.
Attention students, TFI Local Link bus services available nationwide can connect you to a wide range of colleges all year round. Save up to 50% on cash fares when you use your TFI Young Adult or Student Leap Card. For route and timetable information, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're Transport for you.
Discover amazing deals at Floyd's Restaurant, Ballymagori, Strabane. Enjoy a 2-course menu for £19.95 Monday to Friday, Euro for pound night Wednesday and steak night Thursday. Sunday carvery from 12:30 to 3:30. Party packages and function rooms available. Call 02871 382905 to book.
All you need to make your house a home at Patterson's The Halliford. From garden furniture to kitchens, sofas and dining sets, all under one roof. Need a new mattress? Why not visit our sleep centre on the first floor? With a large range of quality beds and mattresses in stock and ready for collection or delivery. Relax in our coffee shop serving hot lunches daily. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Patterson's Kitchens and Interiors, The Halliford.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time now is 9:28. We're in the company of Lorraine Thompson, Councillor Troy Gallagher and Grania Hines. And the first part of this has been a conversation about the presidential election, which takes place this day week. Some of your comments coming in. Greg, a lot of people think we've no call for a president. I think on the cost to the state, money that could be spent more wisely. The lady talking, Grania, about the presidential candidate and stating Heather Humphreys would be the neighbour she would prefer to talk over the wall to. I think Heather should speak to her actual neighbours who's... Well, OK, I'll come back to that because I'll come back to that in a moment. Sinn Féin wanted Burns to stand. He wasn't interested then. They went with Connolly. That's the fact, Greg. Another, this must be the dullest, pathetic and lacklustre election in recent history. If Maria Steen had been standing and I had been responsible for the campaign, she'd have won the vote in Donegal by far. P.S. Sinn Féin must be kicking their own bums now for not putting up their own candidate. Yet another strategic blunder to add to a long list. Sinn Féin have done this tactically. They are trying to keep an eye on the next general election. The left was incredibly scattered. and that's cost them dearly over the last wee while. This is very much part of a strategy towards the next general election. If they can coalesce and they can work well together now, it's exactly what they'll be doing in the next general election. So I believe this is a test of how unified the left can be. I don't know if any of you disagree or agree with that.
Sinn Féin should have put forward a candidate because politics, I mean, they should think of, the way the country look at them. And a Sinn Féin president might have been a unifying effect in many ways of different things. And I'm very disappointed. I think they've made a mistake. I think it is a mistake. I think Fianna Fáil did try to step away from the political environment by nominating Jim Gavin. It didn't work out, unfortunately, but at least they had the courage to put forward somebody who wasn't a political member of the government. But they did try. Heather did step up. She you have to say that, and Catherine stepped up. And I wish both of them good luck. And please come out and vote.
Yeah, of course. Would we benefit from a Maria Steen in the race, Lorraine, for an example? That seems to be. I mean, there were other people seeking to get on the ballot paper, but her name, she was so close, in fact, to senators or TDs away. I'll ask Lorraine and come back to the rest of you before we move on.
Yeah.
Would we benefit from that, even if maybe her views don't align with yours?
Sorry, say that last bit
Would we
again?
benefit from it, even if, as an individual, her views wouldn't align with yours or mine or any? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been floated here a few times in this conversation and in others. Obviously, the more candidates you have, the better choice you have. And people might. I mean, you've talked about Sinn Féin not engaging. Was it a resource issue? Probably, possibly. Did they, see that there's not a big appetite in this election? So maybe they.
Well, there's 2020. That's the way it is, right? It's with the three big parties. And then you've got, if Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael had got the candidates right, they're cross-pollinating. And then you'd have the left vote, in inverted commas, split with Catherine Connolly. So there's, I think it was, I personally, Lorraine, sorry, and I'm not contradicting you, but it's just for the sake of the conversation. Tactically, it probably was the right decision because now their candidate that they're endorsing is likely to win.
Absolutely, and you can't argue with that strategy. Like it won out in the end. But I do wonder, in terms of having more candidates, more interest, people coming from different geographical areas, different political ideations.
Yeah.
I think that obviously brings to the fore. I often looked at the last presidential campaign in America and thought, is that the best that country can do in terms of those candidates? So I do think it's a bit of a reflection. And for me, the bigger question is, really, why do the political parties want to invest so much in a candidate that's going to disassociate from them when they get into the position? Yeah. So, what is the larger benefit other than political ideations and I don't know, maybe they feel that they have won something, but I'm not really sure about if they get their candidate in, what's the bigger win?
Troy, I think if Maria Steen was in it, and I'm not sure if this would be healthy or unhealthy, but the debates would be far more interesting because it would drill down more into things like immigration, for an example, and what have you. These are not really topics. It's interesting to know where the president stands, right, but not areas of influence. So a question's put on immigration to Heather Humphreys and Catherine Connolly, and they're both in the same space in answering that. And it is one of the big issues in a lot of Western countries. So you would have far more lively debates, but they probably would be less focused on presidential matters.
Yeah, it would be, but it would also give that authentic feel as well. And even though with Maria Steen that people may agree or disagree with her points of view, it does put out where she stands on a number of things, but also allows that wider quality of debate, and it gives that space for that level of dialogue across the country for those who feel disaffected or for whatever reason may find themselves agreeing with Maria Steen. But just going back to the point earlier on about Jim, you mentioned about Jim Gavin and the behaviour,
the gesturing,
the gesturing. That reminded me back in 1990 of Brian Lenihan when he addressed the nation on the RT show and said he had no recollection of that evening when he pointed to the camera, speaking into the camera, which was recognised by Fianna Fáil and by wider comms that that's not the way you speak to the nation or make a point. And I think when I seen Jim Gavin do that, I thought lessons haven't learned. Whoever your comms person has not learned the lessons.
And whoever the comms person's in told him to get at Catherine Connolly straight away. And she hadn't the first sentence out of his mouth, and you could see what he was trying to do. And he was ill prepared, and I don't think it's in his character.
Oh, no, I don't know the man. I've never met him. I believe he's a lovely man for people who have done. But again, it just shows you that, and I mean this with the greatest respect, the inexperience of not being involved in the political field and being plucked up and put into one of the biggest national campaigns the state will run. And I think that was an injustice to Jim Gavin equally as much, and his family as much as it was towards.
Yeah, because we keep saying it's not a political position, but it is, and it's also scrutinised as such. And if you were to not answer certain questions as president, you'd be criticised for being a do-nothing president. But those questions are often politically motivated. Stay where you are. Greg, I'm listening to your discussion on the presidency. In my opinion, we'd be far better discussing how we could get a new government first, because at the moment we have neither. Well, you all had a very good opportunity very, very recently to go out and vote, and you returned the government with a really strong vote, close on 40, if not a little over 40%. So people have had that opportunity quite recently, and they will again in a couple of years. Another caller says, I think it's a masterstroke from Sinn Féin by not running a candidate. It's a great step to unite the left ahead of future general elections. A very good forward-thinking decision. That's what I believe they did too. Had John Hume and co not engaged with the IRA, we'd have no peace process. And as for Grania, that Catherine Connolly, and as for the woman that Catherine Connolly employed, was Haughey not involved in gun running and later became Taoiseach? And lastly, was Heather Humphreys ever asked what she thought of the burning of effigies on the 12th of July bonfires? Another, this must be the dullest, pathetic and most lacklustre election in recent history. If Maria Steen had been standing, and I've read that one already. Just a couple before the next break. Catherine Connolly doesn't even know if her husband's going to live with her in the Irish. I find that a strange one. Another, what's the reason Sinn Féin did not put someone up for president if all truth were told, I wonder. Another, where does the election stand if the High Court judges that the whip used in the selection process is a breach of the Constitution? Probably not going to happen. And another, I hope the country has the cop on to spoil the vote at a very high level and show this government for what it is. It's sickening, Greg. The spoil the vote thing, I don't understand, because what it actually does is it hands the election to one of potentially either or the candidates that you don't want to be president. It is completely futile. What you've written on your ballot paper is not recorded. It's the same as if you put 3 1s in. It's like, I understand where people are coming from. If I was protesting, I'd vote Jim Gavin.
Yeah, because he's going to be on the ballot paper. Yeah, I don't understand that myself in terms of I get people are annoyed and they're, wanting to let their voice be heard in some kind of way, but it seems to be futile. It seems to be aligned with, well, don't bother coming out if that's how you feel.
Well, they won't, Lorraine. People will say, I'm going to spoil my vote, and they won't. You have an extra cup of tea, or you put your feet up and watch Homes Under the Hammer. You don't get up and go and spoil your vote.
No, I don't. I think please don't spoil your vote. Go out and vote. Make up your mind. We do need a vote, and it's very important for your children and your grandchildren to see you going out to vote.
Indeed. Absolutely.
You have to, yes, it's a big influence, and especially grandparents. Well, we all, probably the older generation, most of us will go out and vote, because we know the difference that it makes. We've lived in, we've travelled. We know countries where people aren't allowed to vote, where women weren't allowed to vote. And it was a hard-fought battle to get the vote for women. So I am appealing to all parents and grandparents to give their children good
I don't mean it funny, but you're talking about dictatorships there and how we're so lucky to not live in one. And then you were criticising Catherine Connolly earlier on for going out there and perhaps trying to hear the voices of people that don't have a vote. It seems a bit of a contradiction, if you don't mind me saying so.
No, it's not a contradiction, because when you go out to a country, I mean, I've lived under dictator for 9 years, and I didn't speak all the languages in the country. There's very little that outsiders are going to. You go out there and it's like saying that Tony Blair and etc. could run Palestine. It's the Palestinians who need to run Palestine.
Well, we can't
not
get into
strangers.
That one. Okay, we'll be back with more after these.
Newspapers are kindly supplied by Cosgrove Centra, Mountaintop Letterkenny. Now with the new look Mountaintop Diner.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
At Hidden Hearing, we believe you should keep hearing it all. Keep dancing. Keep celebrating. Keep laughing. Keep being you. Call 1-800-370-000 or go to hiddenhearing.ie and book a free hearing test today. Hidden Hearing. Your hearing is our expertise.
Welcome to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms in Donegal Town. Discover affordable luxury with our bespoke fitted furniture solutions. With almost 30 years of serving Ireland and the Northwest, we're your trusted experts. Visit us Monday to Friday 9am until 5pm and on Saturdays from 9am until 3:30pm. Book your free consultation today on 074 9725822 or visit cherrymore.ie. Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, where affordability and luxury combine.
Dad, who's Nissan?
Who?
Nissan. Uncle Pork said Nissan did him a mighty deal on his cool new car.
Nissan. His new Nissan. Oh yeah, he did get a mighty deal.
Uncle Porg is right. Get 4K your way today. Choose a €4,000 finance contribution or a 4K trade-in bonus on a new Nissan. It's a mighty deal, however you say it. See nissan.ie for details. Nissan. Defy ordinary. Terms and conditions apply.
At McGilligan's Hotel, we specialise in crafting unforgettable events for every occasion. Whether you're planning a milestone birthday, engagement, christening, anniversary party or family gathering, our elegant space, exceptional service and central location makes us the perfect choice for celebrations in Letterkenny. From intimate affairs to lively parties. At McGilligan's Hotel, we offer packages to suit all budgets. For more information, call the events team at McGilligan's Hotel on 07491 22066.
Whether it's on a bagel, in a cheesecake, or your very own secret recipe, if you love using Philadelphia cream cheese, we want to hear from you. Highland Radio has teamed up with Philadelphia Cream Cheese, the original, for your chance to become a Philadelphia local ambassador and win a €250 voucher. For your chance to win, listen into Around the Northwest next week from 12pm and keep an eye on our socials. All with thanks to Philadelphia, the best friend in everyone's fridge. You've got a friend in Philly.
The High Kings are back this January with their Rocky Road Tour. One of Ireland's favourite folk groups live in concert at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny on January 2nd. The Millennium Forum Derry, January 3rd. And Belfast's Waterfront Hall on January 4th. With new songs and classic favourites and energy only the High Kings can bring. Tickets on sale now from the venue box office and Ticketmaster.ie. Presented by Joe Gallagher Entertainments.
Given the recent Central Statistics Office figures showing that Donegal has the highest rate of people living on low incomes in the state, with 1 in 4 below the low income threshold, what specific ring-fenced government investment and policy changes do you think are needed to address this deep-seated regional inequality, particularly to tackle local factors like the DCB scheme, the lack of regional infrastructure and the persistent issue of low-wage employment? Lorraine, this is what our young people are growing up into. What could or should be done? You're muted. Lorraine, I'm very disappointed in you. I didn't think it would be you that would be muted. I had Troy down as the muter.
Apologies.
Go ahead,
As I
Lorraine.
was saying to myself a second ago, yeah, this is not a new issue, Greg. I have been with Donegal Youth Service now for 20 plus years, and I have lost count of how many funding applications I have written detailing the problems that we're having in terms of Donegal as an isolated county, the problems with transport, infrastructure, accessibility to services, obviously on the context of young people and the communities that they're growing up in. So this really talks about Donegal being in effective poverty. So effective poverty means people who are working but cannot make ends meet, people that are struggling, they're having to make decisions on a daily basis about, you know, putting the lights on, putting heat on, putting the food on the table. So I have been at loads of national meetings, and I always say in Donegal we do it differently. We go above and beyond. I feel like working in the community and voluntary sector, that's evident. We we don't take things lying down. You know, we try to get round things in whichever way we can. We try to use the funding that we can in the most efficient, effective, and kind of trying to stretch things and make things work for us. So I feel like as a county, we have that as a positive. We have that going for us, but we're constantly banging our heads against this. I suppose this distance from Dublin.
Well, there is
distance
that
from
saying.
decision
There is that
makers.
sign that the rising tide lifts all boats, but clearly they don't, because we're told it's an incredibly wealthy country with a growing economy. There are massive gaps nationally, but those gaps are wider in Donegal. And there doesn't seem to be any appetite for any regional sort of focus in relation to this. So what could what needs to be done, Lorraine, or is this just?
We need to do it differently.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
We need to, put it all on the table and do things differently. What about a specific plan for Donegal?
Yeah,
What
I
about
agree.
a plan that looks at, obviously, I mean, you've talked for I don't know how many shows about the transport infrastructure, the problems with the A5, why are we not attracting more inward investment into this county? Even to have a minister in the county is always a coup for us. Doesn't really matter which party it's from, because we need to always have a minister here.
But has
so
that
that we're not
benefited us
forgotten
though?
about.
Like, for instance, it's things like ATU having a professor. It's little things like that that increase maybe the output from universities and increase jobs and all that type of stuff. I'll come back to you, Troy. I want to bring you in here as well.
Yeah, thanks. I agree with the points that Lorraine said. I mean, when I read that, I was really taken aback by, even with the amount of positive stuff that has been done with investment and with Fintru and with the farmers and Letterkenny. From my own experience of tackling poverty through being a councillor in Islington, I think Donegal needs its own anti-poverty strategy. Focus solely on Donegal and look at the key work streams that come from that, which is low wages, which is housing, which is food and fuel poverty, and access to healthcare. I think when I read it, I thought, what could be done for Donegal? I think there's no joint up between the department and the local authority in having a key milestone plan with each work streams. They're done through what we do in Islington is through local area plans. So you've got one for obviously Carndonagh, Moville, and then Inishowen has got its own one. But it needs one across, including for the Frostis and Grenguidor, which is left behind even within Donegal, even further. I think what it needs a multifaceted approach between food suppliers, obviously the local authority, retailers and producers, to be able to come to an agreement about how we actually work together to reduce the cost of food. And I think also one of the things that we managed to do was to build what's called community wealth building, is using our assets to be able to generate wealth and reinvest that back in the community. I also think that the charities, we've got huge, with the richness we have for community spirit and people being involved in charities, as Lorraine rightly said, I think charities need to be seen as a key partner, not just as a...
I worry where we would be at without the food banks, without cancer flights and services, without those working with children with disabilities, without those campaigning so strongly on health services. You would wonder how wide the gap might be without those people. Grania, what's your feelings?
I think it's very sad to think in this day and age, and I think transport is one of the things, because you're not going to have people investing or coming here unless they have adequate roads, or obviously we'll never get a train, but at least let us have proper transport. The next thing is that I think there should be a survey on households who are suffering from poverty, and I think the council should know and try and instigate policies that will support these people.
Yes.
They should be, like, food banks are fine, but it's not nice. People
Is that
don't
not
like
done during budget time, where you target resources at those that need the most, rather than universal payments or no payments at all? That you actually, it's the state that has the data on the households that need the support most, but they don't seem to want to put in specific targeted measures, Grania.
Well, it's very difficult to just give things to us, not give them to, to the rest of the country. So, I mean, they have that problem, but Donegal is definitely neglected.
But they've done it for the islands for years, Grania, so why not us?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yes, possibly. But I think a survey should be done on the income going into each area and each house and the facilities. Like transport is one of the big things as well for people going to hospitals. Like for older people, the older people's executive are working on things, but we're not allowed to lobby. We're not allowed to, really. We have to go through the Age Friendly Alliance, which then has to go to the county council, which is long drawn out. I just would like to comment on one little thing. Dr. Keating, I have been fighting for the A&E for better seating and maybe an annexed area for older people for, 10 years. Now, I met Dr. Keating the other day, and she has actually ordered more comfortable furniture. And I'd like to thank Greg as well for his interest in the hospital, because only for this program, I don't think this surgical hub would ever have needed. So thank you very much. And to say that they are working, people are working for older people, they're working for the differently abled. People in the county are very good. But we do need funding and we do need investment.
Okay, Grania, and thanks
ATU
by the way.
is here now, and money needs to be poured into it because that is a great asset to the country, to the county.
And listen, thanks for your nice comments there. I do have to take a break, Grania, because unfortunately that's the only way we can pay our bills, because we don't get that delicious licence fee money.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Looking for somewhere special to relax and enjoy great food? Come to the ESA Centre and Celtic Prayer Garden, F93 F104. Every Friday it's Fish and Chip Friday, fresh and delicious. Now opened on Saturdays. Enjoy our all-day breakfasts, the perfect way to catch up with friends. And don't forget our full menu and daily specials served all week. We also cater for groups of any size, so why not come and spend the day with us? Call 07493 848866. The ESA Centre, Island of Saints and Scholars.
Coltas Ceoltarí Éireann a lethir Cargus, I Celliar in the Gangle. Ihe specialta landa Heol, Aran agus Dausa, Jamarch and Ortu Lesvihe, Jerry Fower, Ega Hort, in Erklan and Rianan, Letcher Canning, Mar Hodge da Doris Nashanta. Be a lethir Hontahia El, na Ceoltarí, na Hauranihe, agus na Dausarí Traditiona Isfar in Éireann, Le Tractorat o Kiana Campbell, agus Jermit de Fuiche. Take your fuel on Buxa Offige, or see you Grace on the Hairclania, na o Wild de Vranche Letcher Canning de Holtus.
At iMotors, the road to 261 starts on the 16th of October. Join us for our open weekend, where we'll showcase the full Kia and Nissan lineup for 2026. On Saturday the 18th, grab a free DL burger on us. Any customer who pre-orders before the 23rd of December enters a chance to win €10,000. Exclusive at iMotors. Swing by our open weekend and drive into the new year in style.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Indulge yourself with friends or a loved one at the Spa at Orchids at the Holyrood Hotel in Bundoran. A midweek or weekend spa break is the perfect way to escape from life for a while. Take a leisurely walk along the Atlantic coast. Enjoy a dip in our private pool, a plunge in our Canadian hot tub, and treatments of your choice before dining in one of the Holyrood Hotel's acclaimed restaurants. The Spa at Orchids. Book now at holyroodhotel.com.
Shower, teeth, clothes, coffee, keys, car, drive, work. Shower, teeth, clothes, coffee, keys, car, drive, work. Shower, teeth, clothes, coffee, keys, car, drive. Tractor! You never know what's coming. Slow down on rural roads. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
Okay, so that little bit of high pressure that's keeping the weather steady for a while is going to clear off tomorrow. But today, mainly dry and cloudy with just limited bright or sunny spells. It's been the same for the last 10 days. Temperatures 12 to 14 degrees. Just time for a quickie, if that's okay. Should we continue to switch our clocks twice a year for daylight savings time, given the ongoing debate whether the slight benefits, as you could argue, saving energy, having lighter evenings or brighter mornings or safer mornings outweigh the negative impacts on health, like disrupted sleep and the general hassle of changing the time. Grania, briefly, should we continue to jump back and forwards with our clocks?
Yes, we should. I can draw my curtains a bit later in the evening, and it's not such a long night. So for older people, yes, I think so.
All right. Well, I didn't ask you to be that brief, but that'll do. Lorraine Thompson, what do you think?
Well, it took me years to remember spring forward, fall backwards, and maybe have to unlearn
Well, if
it.
it wasn't for sure, I wouldn't fricking know. Like, if I could turn back.
I do think, listen, I mean, as a parent of small kids back in the day, if somebody had to put that on the table, I'd have been delighted, because it's a disaster when you have small children and you're trying
Lorraine,
to
I'm just getting used to explain to Hudson that it's dark in the mornings now, and then it's going to get a bit bright in the mornings, and then it's going to get dark in the mornings again. It's a nightmare.
You mean if they change it?
Yeah, when they change it. What way does it go? Sorry, which way does it go? It goes back. It falls back.
Fall backwards, right? Spring forward.
Yeah. So it's dark now when he's waking up. It's going to be bright again at the end of October, and then it's going to start getting dark again. It's very confusing.
It is all very confusing anyway. I do think whatever they decide to do, we have to be aligned, obviously. Northern Ireland. Can you imagine having to change the clock every time you cross the border?
Troy, what do you think?
And that's why I'm against it. No, it shouldn't be scrapped because of economic disruption it would cause to post-Brexit UK and Ireland relations. If the EU was to go out of it and UK to remain, there'd be a time border between the north and the south.
All right. Okay. Listen, Troy, it's been great having you on the show. You're over in London. Are you due back anytime soon?
I'm back for Christmas, but may I briefly say a huge congratulations to Alderman Vincent Keaveney, who's receiving the Tipper Award.
We were chatting to him yesterday.
Yeah, and great man, good friend, and wish him well. Couldn't be there tonight, but looking forward to be back at Christmas.
Lovely stuff. We look forward to having you back. It's not going to be that far away. Lorraine Thompson, lovely to have you on the show as always. Look after yourself. Bye-bye. And Grania Hines, great to see you again. It seems like it's been a while. Let's not leave it so long.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right, Grania, thank you so much, and for all of your opinions, as always. Take care of yourself. All right. That's that. We appreciate Lorraine Thompson's time. Councillor Troy Gallagher, he's the Labour Party councillor over in Islington in London. And also Grania Hines, who's a member of the Letterkenny Active Retirement and also a regular listener as well as a contributor to the programme. Thank you so much for all of your comments coming in. Not going to lie, it really is the presidential election that seems to be dominating your comments this morning. So we'll catch up on those and all of the rest of the day's news, your views and some features between now and 12. But have a cup of tea or something whilst you listen to the news. We'll be back just after 10.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Les Miserables, the musical phenomenon, is touring the world in a spectacular new production. The Arena Spectacular comes to 3 Arena from May 29th to June 6th. Tickets from $33.65 go on sale Wednesday, October 22nd. May be subject to fees.
When it's gone, it's gone. This week's new Wigging at Home Store and More. All baking trays and tins are all half price. But better hurry, because when all our half-price baking trays and tins are gone, they're gone. Also, all clothes hangers and all living room throws are still half price. But when our clothes hangers and living room throws Wiggings are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
If you have a special occasion coming up, Watson Menswear stock a great selection of men's and boys' formal and casual wear. Top casual brands include Mishmash, French Connection, Tommy Bow and Penguin. Formal wear names include Rimazumo, Sixth Sense and White Label, with a special suit deal of a 3-piece suit, shirt, tie and shoes, all for only €299. Watson Menswear, open 7 days a week on Main Street, Letterkenny and at watsonmenswear.com.
Autumn
is here and so is your last chance to save. The annual Oktoberfest sale ends this Sunday at Easy Living Furniture. Celebrate the sale of the season with huge reductions on all departments. From plush sofas and dreamy mattresses to eye-catching dining sets and stylish accessories, we have everything you need to make your home feel autumn ready. The Oktoberfest sale ends this Sunday at Easy Living Furniture, Crescent Link Retail Park, Derry.
This week, Highland Motors are going the extra mile by offering 0% finance or a €250 service voucher on all pre-owned cars. It's for 2 weeks only, and there's up to €5,000 in savings on certain models. That's until Friday, October the 24th at Highland Motors in Letterkenny on all pre-owned cars. Some terms and conditions apply. See the selection available at Highland Motors or call the sales team on 91287777.
Experienced project managers, site foremen and site engineers are wanted for civil engineering works on the islands in the Caribbean. Flights, accommodation and vehicle will be covered in the package. Tax-free salary will be based on experience. Send CVs to skelly@sknconstruction.com. Part of the Kelly Group of Companies.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Michaela Clark with the news at 10 o'clock. The owners of the former Apple Green store in Creeslaw, where 10 people lost their lives in an explosion, are set to lodge a planning application for a new service station close to the site. Annette and Danny Martin Lafferty are seeking permission to demolish an existing dwelling adjacent to the site of the explosion and subsequent development works. Alex Riley reports.
Mr. and Mrs. Lafferty have given notice that they are seeking to demolish an existing dwelling in Creeslaw next to the site of the Apple Green station, where an explosion killed 10 people on October 7th, 2022. Plans include the development of a new building which will incorporate a shop, post office, off-licence, deli, fuel pumps, car wash, laundrette kiosk, ATM and other works. Previously, on Commission Planola overturned Donegal County Council's decision to grant permission to Vivo Shell Limited for the development of a shop and filling station on the site of the explosion. It was on the back of an appeal lodged by a number of bereaved families. The body said the proposed development would be out of character with its surroundings and seriously detract from the architectural character and setting of Creeslaw, as well as being contrary to the county development plan.
Letterkenny University Hospital remains one of the most overcrowded hospitals in the country today. According to the INMO, 49 patients are waiting on a bed at the hospital this morning, making it the second most overcrowded hospital in the country. Yesterday, it warned that the emergency department was extremely busy, with all available beds in use yesterday. Taoiseach Simon Harris insists the presidential race isn't over yet, despite a strong lead in the polls for Catherine Connolly. The independent TD leads Heather Humphreys by 18 percentage points, according to yesterday's Irish Times Ipsos poll. The two candidates faced off in the latest radio debate of the contest this morning. Taoiseach and Fine Gael leader Simon Harris says he doesn't believe the Connolly lead is insurmountable.
Oh God, not at all. And that's Sean. You probably thought Sean Gallagher was going to be president. I don't say that rudely, because that's what all the polls and that's what all the pundits thought as well. But what I do hope is that we have a good turnout. I think that's really important. And I think there's a lot of people who are civic-minded, who've never missed a vote in their life. But they might be sitting at home this weekend going, I'm still not sure which way to go.
There's renewed calls for a review of trees along roadsides and in housing estates in Donegal following the recent storm Amy. Councillor Thomas Sean Devine claims in one area during the storm, residents were forced to remove damaged trees themselves before damage was caused to a parked vehicle. Donegal County Council says there is a process in place whereby works to cut trees are carried out and the landowner retrospectively invoiced. Councillor Devine says more action is needed as it's unacceptable that people's lives are being put in danger.
We have to look at that young fellow lost his life in Lufford there on the previous storm. You know, these things needs to be put in place now, that they're cut down, that this doesn't happen. You know, a lot of dangerous trees along our roads. We see them every day rotting and they're still there. There's trees hanging over electric wires that needs to be removed as well.
It's emerged the Tusla accommodation where a teenage boy died during a violent incident in Dublin this week was an unregulated emergency placement centre. The so-called SEAs, or Special Emergency Arrangements, are outsourced by the Child and Family Agency to private providers, but are not subject to the usual regulations or inspections. The 17-year-old died from stab wounds after the incident at an apartment in Grattan Lodge in Donamead on Wednesday. A second 17-year-old from Africa is being treated in hospital for his injuries. Social affairs correspondent with the Irish Times, Kitty Holland, says concerns have been raised about this type of accommodation.
There's a group called EPIC, which last week published a report on the issue of the care of children who are seeking international protection here, and raised specific concerns about these SEAs and about the staff. Whether there was a risk of them having lower staffing ratios, the staff could be less qualified sometimes to deal with trauma and tensions. They talked about, sometimes less able to de-escalate situations.
Ballybuffet and Stranorder Chamber of Commerce is calling for people to refrain from abusing litter bins in the area. It says bins are not designed for vehicle or household waste and are being abused in certain areas. The Chamber says this makes it hazardous for staff maintaining and emptying the bins. Cahirlock of the Lifford Stranorder Municipal District, Councillor Patrick McGuyan, says efforts have been ongoing for some time now to ensure the bins are used for their intended use.
It's become the attention of the Tidy Towns and the Chamber of Commerce for a number of years that certain bins in certain areas are more full than others. Yet now you wouldn't have the same foot traffic in them areas. They have been observing it for a while, and they have discovered now that the residents or passers through that doing this on a regular basis, that they're taking out their household waste in large bags and just sort of jamming it down into it.
Weather now mainly dry and cloudy today with limited bright or sunny spells. Highest temperatures of 12 to 14 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with an update again at 11 o'clock. Until then, you can keep up to date with the latest local news on our website highlandradio.com. Good morning. The obituary notices for this Friday morning, October the 17th. The death has taken place of Lena McMorrow, Muckish Lodge, Maher McGorgan, Carrigart. Removal from the Eternal Light at Chapel of Rest this afternoon at 4 o'clock, going to her late residence. Funeral from there on Sunday morning, going to the Church of St John the Baptist for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Mass can be viewed on the Meva Parish Facebook page. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member. Family time from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock and on the morning of the funeral. The death has occurred of John Campbell, 1 Orchard Drive, Letterkenny, and formerly Pier House, Burtonport, County Donegal. House private please. Reposing at the Eternal Light, Chapel of Rest, Mountain Top, Letterkenny, this evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, where you're most welcome to pay your respects, concluding with removal to the Church of the Irish Martyrs, Ballyrean, Letterkenny, for reception prayers. Reposing overnight for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass tomorrow morning, which can be viewed online at the Church of the Irish Martyrs YouTube channel, followed by family-only private cremation. Family flowers only please, donations if wished to the Donegal Hospice or the Irish Heart and Lung Transplant Association, care of Pascal Blake, Funeral Director. The death has taken place of JJ Lafferty, Corvish, Carndonagh, County Donegal. JJ will repose at his family home today from 12 noon until 10 o'clock and tomorrow from 11 o'clock until 10 o'clock. The family home is private on the morning of the funeral. Funeral Mass will take place at the Sacred Heart Church, Carndonagh at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on carndonaghparish.com. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu if desired to the Friends of Inishowen Hospice, care of any family member or Emma McLaughlin, Funeral Director. The death has occurred of Mary Kate Sweeney, née McGlynn, Castledew, St Johnston, County Donegal. Mary Kate is reposing at her late residence today from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Family time please on the morning of the funeral. The funeral cortege will leave her residence tomorrow morning at 10:20, proceeding to St Bethan's Church, St Johnston for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass, followed by burial in St Columbus Church Cemetery, Dromahol, County Donegal. Family flowers only please, donations in lieu if desired to Breast Cancer Ireland, care of any family member or Kelly's Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Leo McGuinness, Ballyharry, Lekamy, Culdaff. Leo's remains are reposing at his home today from 12 o'clock until 9 o'clock, where you're all welcome to pay your respects. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10:30 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in St Mary's Church, Boken, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on culdaffparish.com. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Emma McLaughlin, Funeral Director. The death has occurred of Kathleen Ward, née McAteer, Port Salin and formerly of Rye, Dobeg, Downings and Kilsarn, County Louth, reposing at her home in Crow Ross, Port Salin. House private before the funeral this morning. Requiem Mass this morning at 11 o'clock in St Mary's Church, Fanavolti, Fanet, followed by a private cremation. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to St Junan's Residence Comfort Fund, care of any family member or McAteer Funeral Directors. The death took place on September the 2nd of James McDermott, Toronto, Canada and Gweedore Station. His remains will leave Gweedore Station tomorrow for funeral mass at 11 o'clock in the Church of the Sacred Heart Dunluy, with interment afterwards in Maharagan Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed on the church's webcam. And the death has taken place of Danny Coyle, St Columba's Grove, Ballyduff Park, Lifford and formerly of Trenta St Johnston, reposing at St Columba's Grove. Funeral leaving there this afternoon at 12:20 for Requiem Mass in St Bathan's Church, St Johnston at 1 o'clock, interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Family time please before the funeral today. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
In life, you've around 29,000 days, and those days can be full of what ifs. Like, what if it doesn't work? But what if it does? What if you really went after it? Because life is measured in those moments. So go after every one. Talk to AIB today, and let's see how we can turn your what ifs into what's next. AIB, for the life you're after. Allied Irish Banks plc is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Welcome back to the 9 till noon show. Good morning if you have just joined us. We had a great Friday panel, lots of conversation, dominated I suppose with 1 week to go, and it's perhaps our last big hurrah on the presidential election. The conversation dominated by it, and your comments the same. Nobody should vote for any politician, says a listener, who advocates abortion or euthanasia because you would be as guilty as them for murdering the innocent. Another, I cannot in all consciousness vote for any candidate or any of the candidates, and the only way I can exercise my right is to spoil my vote. In this election, spoiled votes just demonstrate people's disgust in the government, corrupt method of selection. And others are saying spoiling your vote does not mean it's not counted. It is, of course it is, but it's counted as a percentage, and there's always a percentage of spoiled votes. And then next thing you know, you're trying to explain that we've achieved something by 8% of votes being spoiled, but what have you achieved when someone is elected and the person you're opposed to perhaps wins or comes second? So I get where you're coming from, and it is anyone's right to do it. I just don't see the logic of it. I'm not trying to convince people not to do it or to do it. I'm just saying I don't, because I've covered an awful lot of elections. I know where the focus is at, and spoiled votes, they're a big deal in a council election where it can be very tight and all that kind of stuff, but in a national election it doesn't really matter if they're 10%. It doesn't send any meaningful message. But that's just my view, and it's an honest view. Let's see. It is condescending of the panel to say it's futile to spoil your vote. That's the reason why large numbers will spoil their vote. We have a voice, and we will no longer be dictated to by the elite politicians in this country. This country has given us a choice between an Orange Order candidate and a communist candidate. How is that a choice? Well, that's quite an interesting framing. But also you framed them as elite. And Maria Steen is a very wealthy person. She is elite as well, you could say. So if it's about elitism, I didn't really see a non-elite big name in the hat. But anyway. Hi, Greg. Just wondering, if none of the three candidates running for election are favourable to me, what am I supposed to do on election day? Who do I vote for? Well, you stay at home, I suppose, or go and spoil your vote if you wanted to spoil your vote. But there's lots and lots of people that none of the three or the two that are actively campaigning, that people won't vote because they don't feel that person represents them, or it doesn't really matter because there's not someone there that they feel represents them. So people will either not vote, which probably 65% of people will not vote. That's so we're gonna have effectively a president likely elected by, well, what percentage? So say the winner gets 40% of 35%, right? So we're going to be effectively having 16% of the population electing the next president, something along those lines. So it's hard to get too excited about. That's probably be we're at 17% of the population electing the next, the voting population, sorry, electing the next president. It's why I can't get too excited about it, but I have a rule here. Greg said it would be different if we live in a dictatorship. I feel that we are in a dictatorship, and Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil do whatever they want. Why would Catherine Connolly not answer a question from Enoch Burke's brother? She should have answered him, as she's an ex-barrister. I won't be voting for Catherine or Heather. I saw that video clip, and I mean, obviously, which angle the Burkes are going to come at. But anyway, it's up to her. We don't live in a dictatorship because you all went out and voted last year, or was it earlier this year, last year, and you voted in big enough numbers for Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil to go back into government again together. The electorate and all the left organised to put an alternative in there. That's not a dictatorship. That's literally how democracy works. You would be wasting your time going to vote for a president who's going to do nothing for you and will be kept in a big fancy house by taxpayers' money. We don't need a Dáil and we don't need a prime minister, as everything is controlled by the EU anyway. A complete waste of your time and money, says the listener. For God's sakes, Catherine Connolly is standing for President of Ireland, not Syria. What's this character assassination about? Who is the Conservative woman talking? It's Grania Hines, it's her view. Good morning, Greg. I'll be voting Catherine Connolly. Such a lovely, pleasant woman. That other one is not as nice, says Danny. Danny, you'll appreciate me moderating the language a little bit, I hope. What do we need a president for? It's just a sham of a job, full stop. Do away with it altogether, says another listener. Another, I don't understand how someone thinks that Heather Humphreys will be a united voice for Ireland. Is Heather not married to a Presbyterian who's a member of the Orange Order and is refusing to move to the Irish? Is that, again, pardon my ignorance and educate me, I'm not sure of his background, but is that not a united Ireland? A united voice for Ireland includes people of all religion and none, does it not? I thought it did.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Friday the 17th of October. You're playing on the yellow sheet for the daily prize of €400. The reference number is S10. It's game number 42. The numbers are 24, 18, 48, 2, 53, 81, 25, 15, 17, and finally 77. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
It's Ciara Leahy here, editor of Irish Country Living. We are just 1 week away from our Women in Agriculture Conference. Join us next Thursday, the 23rd of October, at the Radisson Blue Hotel Sligo for a day that celebrates women shaping Irish farming and rural life. Hear inspiring voices from Nevin Maguire, Evelyn Cusack, Daniel Davey, and our keynote speaker, Mary Martin, wife of An Taoiseach Micheál Martin. Tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to join us for a great day out. Read more in this week's Irish Country Living in the Irish Farmers Journal.
Southwest Donegal Blackfish Sheep Breeders Group annual ram show and sale will take place on Friday 17th of October at Broca Clohan Cooperative Mart. Show starts at 5 p.m, followed by sale at 7 p.m. The sale can be viewed on Marteye.
Why leave the magic moments and great scenes you've captured sitting on your phone when you can have them printed at McGee's Chemist? Using McGee's website or one of their in-store kiosks, you just upload your photos, select the ones you want, and have them printed instantly within an hour, or use the 24-hour service. 35mm and film from disposable cameras also printed, and old photos can be digitally restored. Hold your memories in your hand with McGee's Chemist, Letterkenny.
Hello, it's Joe Duffy here. I've been fortunate through my work with the National Lottery to meet some extraordinary good causes, from boxing clubs, wildlife conservation to community cafes. Did you know National Lottery players raise over €4.5 million every week for good causes all over Ireland? And that's all thanks to you, the players. You made this possible. Support responsibly. Average figures based on 2024 financials.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Okay, Minister of State for International Development and Diaspora, Neil Richmond, is in Donegal today. He's attending the Tip O'Neill Irish Diaspora Awards this evening. Good morning to you, Neil. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Greg. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see how these awards have developed over the years to become, a very important part of the Donegal calendar. But beyond that as well, recognising the amazing contribution of a wide, sort of diverse group of people.
It's an amazing achievement to see how these awards that started in 2012 are now a centre point of the calendar for the entire global Irish community. They really are such an exciting event, and obviously named after the great Tip O'Neill, and I'm delighted that his son Tom O'Neill will be in attendance tonight. But if I have a second, I might just go through the four amazing people who will be receiving the awards tonight. First is Vincent Keaveney, who's originally from Dublin but with deep Donegal connections. He was the first ever Irish-born Lord Mayor of the City of London. And then we've Danny Hutton from Buncrana, who's the lead vocalist with the rock band Three Dog Night, who've had huge success in the US. And then we've Eileen and Sean Donaghy, who are from Buncrana but have established over 30 years an amazing restaurant in Sydney called Mulligan's, but also they're just at the heart of the community. And why I list them out like that is all four people have come from very different backgrounds and are active in three very different countries, but they're so proud of not just their Irish roots, but particularly their Donegal roots, and they really represent the best of the Irish abroad. So to celebrate them tonight in Buncrana is a really, really timely, and it's a huge honour for me as Minister for the Diaspora to be here, to be in Donegal today, and indeed to be presenting these awards.
Of course, we're 1 week out from the presidential election, and it would be remiss of you to not use the opportunity to canvass up here. I think you'll be out with Senator Manus Boyle and Nicky Bradley, for Heath Humphreys, obviously. The latest poll, and we do know the only poll that matters is the poll next week, right? But the latest poll shows that Catherine Connolly has a very substantial lead over your candidate, Heather Humphreys. Do you believe that's a gap that can be closed between now and next Friday?
Absolutely. The current gap in the polls is the exact same gap that Sean Gallagher had over Michael D. Higgins a week out from the 2011 presidential election. And I think we all know how that ended up, and we've been very lucky for the last 14 years to have Michael D. Higgins as our president. And I fundamentally believe that we have a good week, literally a week today. And first thing I would say to your listeners, Greg, is the most important thing they do is to vote, regardless of who they vote for. But I am going to be canvassing day and night for a great Ulster woman and a good friend of mine in the form of Heather Humphreys.
Why do you believe she is the right person for the job?
Well, I think I say this as someone who is Minister of State in the Department of Foreign Affairs, we're in really, really tricky, difficult global times at the moment. We need our allies, we need our friends. Heather has a proven record as a Minister, TD and Councillor of being able to work with people from all backgrounds, not only on this island, but across the world. And I know she's not on to defend herself, but I think we all know that the opinions that Miss Connolly has are extremely worrying. And even today, we just see pictures of her with a very worrying militant leader in her visit, the taxpayer-paid visit to Syria.
But you talk about how the role of diplomacy, was it not Simon Harris that called President Trump a ghoul? Probably one of the economies we're most reliable on. I mean, that's not fantastic diplomatic language to be using, is it?
Well, I think there's a big difference in diplomatic language in making a comment in relation to President America than meeting a militant leader in Syria, or indeed referring to the German preparations of security and comparing it to the Nazis, or indeed voting consistently against EU treaties, or indeed constantly chastising our European allies for very sincerely and deliberately preparing themselves against Russian
But
aggression.
the problem?
I think
The
there's
problem
not
that
the
you,
right to
Neil,
equate the two as the same.
No, I understand that, but I was more of a reference not to a trip to Syria, but the diplomatic role the president plays. But you see the things that you are sort of attacking in inverted commas, and I know it's not mean spirited, Catherine Connolly. There are the things that a lot of people are going to vote. If you're going to have any success for her, because they agree with her, if you're going to have any success over the next week, the things that you're talking, a lot of people agree with the I mean, I think it was a clumsy sort of analogy with Nazi Germany, but in terms of what was happening in terms of time, it's similar, right? A lot of people are concerned about the way Europe is spending in terms of, moving towards a European army or whatever it might be. A lot of people are critical, if you're in the fishing or farming industry, of the role of the EU. The very things that you sort of are having a go at Catherine Connolly about are the very things that perhaps people might be inclined to vote for her about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see what you're getting at, and I fully understand anyone who has concerns about real life issues that are impacting them, but I don't think it's clumsy making a comparison with Nazi Germany. It was very deliberate, and it follows a consistent 10 to 15 year record. But what the point I'm very clearly making is that Europe has been good for Ireland. It has been good for our farming community. It will continue to be good for our farming community, and Heather Humphreys is a pro-European candidate, consistently so.
Yeah.
And what I really want to be able to hear and see from my president is a president that knows that they represent the country not only at home but also abroad, and can do so consistently, something that Heather has done as a minister repeatedly.
I just think it'd be interesting. I think it'd be interesting if you asked Senator Manus-Ball, with whom you're actually canvassing today, if you ask him if he thinks Europe has been good for the fishing industry. Because I don't think he would say it has.
I've spoken to Manus about that consistently. Manus had me in Killybegs about 13 months ago before the local elections, and I've had him in Brussels on 2 occasions, and we've worked very closely with Nina Carberry, and we've got a number of carve-outs for Irish fishers, and I know that's of acute interest in Donegal, but it's also of acute interest in West Cork and Wexford and other areas, and we have consistently seen, and where I would have got to know Manus was before his own political entry, when his dad was still a councillor, working on making sure that we protect Irish fishers from the real impact of Brexit, something that was an achievement when we needed Europe in the Brexit negotiations, and you and I discussed at length the impact for border communities so many times of various proposals from the then British government. Europe stood with us, and you know who was a cabinet minister at the time making sure that Europe stood with us? Heather Humphreys.
All right, okay, well, we'll leave it on that note. Listen, enjoy your stay, enjoy tonight. I would love to have gone, but I have another appointment. But enjoy tonight. It's a wonderful thing, and it's great. It's been amazing to see how it's grown. So, and it's also actually very good that you're there as well, actually, because it does give it an extra bit of recognition. But thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much.
Okay, take care of yourself. That's Minister for the Diaspora, Minister Neil Richmond.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Seasonal loans now available for Christmas. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Discover the untamed charm of Ireland's West at the Radisson Blue Hotel and Spa Sligo. When the world quiets down, something inside awakens. Escape the ordinary, embrace the elements. Unwind in the award-winning spa and heated pool where romance and Atlantic beauty meet. Book your escape today.
Stock up this week at Dunnes Stores with Diet Coke and Coke Zero 18-pack range, just €10 each. Cadbury Dairy Milk Buttons, Kit Kat 2 Finger Bars 8-pack and Tato Rancheros 100 gram, now half price. And introducing our 12 deals of Christmas with selected Sour Patch Kids multi-pack, Mars and Maltesers fun size multi-pack, all half price. And keep an eye out for next week's deal of the week. Plus, save more with your 10/50 voucher. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Vouchers can be used on next grocery shop. Deposit return scheme fees apply.
Les Miserables, the musical phenomenon, is touring the world in a spectacular new production. The Arena Spectacular comes to 3 Arena from May 29th to June 6th. Tickets from $33.65 go on sale Wednesday, October 22nd. May be subject to fees.
Looking ahead to 2026? Now's the time to order your 261 Kia at Heron Auto, Donegal Town. With 5 brand new Kia models arriving, there's never been a better time to upgrade. With smart design, a 7-year warranty and finance starting from 0%, Kia delivers style, comfort and performance you can rely on. Visit Heron Auto, Donegal Town. Secure your 261 model today. Drive with confidence, drive with Heron Auto.
If you are a victim or survivor of sexual violence, you do not need to suffer on your own. Help is available to you. We spoke to Niamh from the communications team in Coon about supports available to all victims of sexual violence.
We want all victims and survivors of sexual violence to know that support is always here for them. You don't need to deal with this on your own, regardless of when it happened.
If you are looking for help and support in relation to sexual violence, contact your local Sexual Violence Support Centre on 1800 448 844.
Now I'm in studio with David McCourt, who's chair of the National Broadband Ireland. It's the company delivering the new future-proofed high-speed fibre to the home network under the National Broadband Plan. On behalf of the government, 500 Donegal premises on Aaron Moor can now avail of high-speed fibre broadband connection. Thanks so much for joining us, David.
Greg, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
How are we doing sort of in this region overall? Then obviously it's very welcome that our island community is being serviced as they are. How are we doing in terms of reaching targets?
Well, 75% of Donegal is wired and ready. So it's almost done. In the whole country, of the 560,000 homes, 450,000 are done. So the project will be done next year. It'll be done ahead of schedule, under budget. And I believe it's delivering the policy it was intended to.
What's left in Donegal? Is it the more tricky connections?
Yeah, the beginning and the end are always the hardest. It's, Greg, that's just the way construction works. Getting it started is hard and finishing it is hard. But it's only months away from being 100% done. So now we just need people to hook it up and figure out how to use that fibre to see if they can do things to change their life and change the way they not only communicate, but the way they educate their kids, the way they deal with healthcare, the way they deal with... Everything is moving away from copper and into a world where if you have fiber, you can change the way you educate your kids, you can change the way you deal with healthcare, you can change the way you work, obviously, as well as entertainment, obviously, Greg.
Yeah. So how the remaining 25%? You say that will be, when will that 25% be connected in Donegal?
The next few months.
Okay. And how can you accelerate so quickly?
Well,
if you know what I mean, if it's taken now to get to 75%, how can we close that?
It's well, we had the whole country. We're working in every county in the country, so we had the whole country to deal with, and we put enough fiber to go around the world 4 times, and we've covered 96% of the landmass in Ireland. So it was a massive project. It was a massive multi-billion-dollar public-private partnership. And to put it in perspective, there was a professor, Flyberg in Oxford, that did a study a few years ago, and he measured 16,000 public-private partnerships across 190 countries, and he found out that only half of 1% can tick off 3 boxes: on time, on budget, and deliver policy. So this project is on time, under budget, and delivering policy. And that's because the government was brave to do it. The department has worked very, very hard to execute on it. And the men and women of NBI have just worked tirelessly. So all 3, the private sector, the public sector, the government, the department, everybody's worked together to make it happen. Very proud
I mean, there was an initial carving out, wasn't there, if I could phrase it like that, of what would be delivered privately and what might be delivered through this plan. And if I remember correctly, then very close to, or whilst the plan was upgoing, there's a further bit of cherry picking, if I could put it to you like that, where the easier connections, you could argue, were carved out. Was that problematic at all? Is that just part of the process?
You mean they were carved out by the private sector ahead of time?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I think that was done probably to try to, whatever company did that was probably doing it to help themselves, and it wasn't really in the best interest of the state. It didn't make the project easier. It made it more difficult, and it was done for someone else's, for their own self-interest. And it made it a little bit more difficult to get the project off the ground, but we persevered. We got it off the ground. And it's the only country, and we all should be proud, as Irish men and women, we all should be proud. It's the only country in Europe that's leaving no one behind. Everyone has the right to fiber now. In fiber, Greg, when you think of fiber, you really shouldn't think of Netflix or Amazon or just streaming video. You should think about everything that's going to come down the road, how people are going to be educated, how healthcare is going to be delivered, how you're going to work. And with AI, which works so much better if you have a fiber connection because it's so robust and how much capacity it needs, everything is going to change. And Ireland will be very happy that they made the decision, I think, to wire the whole country.
There are packages, now 500 megabyte, 1,000 megabyte, right? What is the capacity of the network?
Basically,
broadly speaking, if you know.
Broadly speaking, it's unlimited. We had to build it. Contractually, we had to make it what's in the contract called future-proof. So we have to constantly use our own capital to continually to upgrade it to make sure that it can handle whatever product or services the market brings to bear. So as people come up with new ideas to use fiber to change, whether it's a societal problem or to deliver a product, we have to upgrade the network to deliver that. And we're trying to encourage people to come up with ideas. We're up here actually to give a grant to the National School up in Dumfries to buy some handheld tablets for the kids to help them with their reading. And that's our 160th grant. And we give these grants to anybody that will use the fiber to figure out how to either create a job or help educate kids or help a social enterprise deliver their service. And we're trying to encourage people to come up with interesting ideas. And we've had young people especially come up with amazing ideas of how to use that fiber to either create dignified jobs or accelerate a social service. It's been great.
So it's unlimited. So a 10,000 or a offering is doable if now. I think a lot of people would struggle for a device in their home that would be able to sort of max out the 1,000. But anyway, we are progressing all of the time. Quick, just because you're in this sector, a question about AI. I was on the record on this show a couple of years ago thinking that, and this was only from my own personal perspective, that outside maybe of the sort of business applications and what have you, that we're in a bit of an AI bubble in terms of how it actually will go on to have a positive impact on our lives, okay? And part of that's motivated by the fact that even the big companies like ChatGPT or Grok, for an example, they're demonstrating its power by the creation of videos, which reminds me of when Siri first came out and you'd ask Siri the time, because you didn't really have much else to ask it, right? So the cool thing was it was able to tell you the time. And I just wonder, do you have any sort of an insight or any vision as to, in everyday life, where artificial intelligence will become, adopted and a part of the norm? Because I do have as a user, my reservations about it.
That's a very interesting question, Greg. I would be on the side of being very pro that AI, obviously there's problems it could create if it got out of control, but AI is going to change everything. It's going to change everything about the way we live, and everything about the way we interact, and everything about the way we work. I think it's
How do you think it will affect people? I just think in everyday life for it to be commercially successful, and I just think of when Sky took out 3D glasses, and they were trying to put 3D TVs in pubs, and the whole notion was that everyone in the pub would stand with wearing these 3D glasses, right? There was a few of them around here, and I'm not saying it's in the same level. I'm on about the sort of I think it had to be broadly adopted, really, for it to be truly worth all the money that's going into it. But how do you think you and I at home or in our day-to-day lives will engage with it?
Well, I mean, the whole experience of, on the entertainment side, the whole experience of watching TV will be replaced by immersive, where you feel like you're actually in the show. So you will be, all of entertainment is moving towards immersive. And you're seeing these immersive centers opening up all over the world. They're opening up. It's the fastest growing piece of the entertainment ecosystem right now.
Do you think it will catch on?
Pardon me?
Do you think it will catch on at that end? Because, I mean, like, smart glasses haven't really landed.
Smart glasses,
virtual reality, billions have been put into it, and people aren't. It's not heavily adopted.
Yeah, but all these technologies.
I'm just concerned that people actually genuinely don't like necessarily being out of the reality space.
Well, that's a generational thing. We
Okay.
don't because we grew up a certain way. But think about the internet for a minute. The internet was invented in the mid-'70s. It wasn't in the Telecom Act of '97, which was the biggest piece of legislation at the time America ever had, the Telecom Act that broke up AT&T. At that time, AT&T was the most profitable company on the planet. That Telecom Act only mentioned the word internet twice, and both were in irrelevant sections. So 20 years after it was invented, the government didn't even understand what it was, and nobody was using it. Now everyone knows what it is, and everyone's using it. So it takes a long time, because it's a generational.
It's just that we saw things stubble like mini discs, and things. So, but you're very, very much correct, I'm sure. Just in relation to broadband as a whole, and going back maybe to the carving out or what have you, there are people listening to this show now, right, who got their internet maybe not through the MBP, and they've been promised fibre. They're getting 62 download, 70 download, 25 download, right, through a company, right, and they're the ones that have put in the infrastructure. There is a minimum, isn't there, speed delivery from the National Broadband Plan, right?
Correct.
So what then? And it's a two-part question, if not three. So what about people then that find themselves feeling disadvantaged, that they're on fibre, they're maxing out at 62 in this one listener's case, and someone up the road's on the NBP with potentially unlimited download speeds?
So in your question, you're saying that someone is on fibre but not on the MBP.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to mention companies because I don't know like Air, for instance, right? Okay, so Air are responsible for some of their own infrastructure, I presume.
But at that speed, I doubt they're on fibre.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be fibre in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So a salesperson might have said they're on fibre.
Could they be on sort of copper from the pole?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And look, the copper's going away. There's
but if you're on private property, right, and you're running the copper from the pole to your house,
that copper's going to go away.
Yeah, but who's going to get rid of that?
Well, it has to go.
Okay.
In Europe, it's supposed to all be gone by 2030. It won't be, but all of Europe is supposed to remove the copper and be replaced by fiber, because if that copper it's a diminishing asset, because it also it's so heavy that whenever there was a storm like that last big storm that came through here, it's so heavy that it brings down the poles. And when you bring down one pole, it usually brings down the second, third. Yeah. So the copper switch off is happening, just like the analog switch off happened on the TVs, right? And some countries in Northern Europe have already done it. Ireland's a little behind, maybe a lot behind. And that copper needs to be removed from the system so everyone has the same access. So in that case, those two people, 100 meters down the street from each other, both will have the same access to the same capabilities.
There's an awful lot of stuff can impact on speed too as well. How much of your package you achieve, you're rebooting your router, for crying out loud. There's an awful, like what you might be getting at the pole versus what you're enjoying in the house can be very different things. There's a lot of variables there.
Well,
that aren't necessarily the responsible of the infrastructure.
Well, in the case of MBP, there's two things in a contract that are very interesting. We can speed test, and the government can speed test our network. So we have to deliver the best speed in the country. We have no choice. And the government there's devices on our network where the government can actually see what we're delivering. And there's 50 retail providers. So if someone is on the NBP and they're not, and they can find out where they are. They can just go on NBI.ie and they can put the postcode in, the air code, and they can see whether they're on it. If they're on it, there's 50 different retail providers. If they're not happy with one, because they should move to another, because we're not a retail provider.
You're an infrastructure.
And we don't have all the retail providers. They're all treated equally. So if they're not happy with one, they should just go to another one.
Okay. The Tip O'Neill Awards are on tonight. 4 fantastic recipients again. And, you think each year can't be matched. And yet here we are recognising more amazing people. You collected this award yourself recently. What did it mean to you?
Oh, it was a great honor. It was a great honor because, first of all, it's a lovely evening, and they put on a lovely event. But it was a great honor, first and foremost, because Tip O'Neill was my first real boss. I worked for him when I was in university, so he taught me a lot of things. His son, Tom, who will be there tonight, is a dear friend of mine. And we're going from here to that national school in Dumfries to give a grant. And that school is where Tom's great-grandmother went to school. So it's, and this is where the family...
It's a tiny wee country we live in, isn't it? Let alone the county.
It was a great honor. And it was an emotional day for me because it was... I remember when I gave my comments after I got the award, I was talking about the horrors in Gaza. And I know you have a nurse coming on later on today, and God love him for spending time over there helping those poor people. And we're a year on, and that devastation over there and the killing is just amazing that how bad that is. But it was...
And to put it into context, how many lives have been lost or destroyed in between our two conversations?
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, isn't
it? Unnecessary. And it's unnecessary. And, and those that start it now are being applauded for ending it, which is sort of a weird sort of way to look at the world, isn't it?
Unfortunately, though, it is sort of the way of the world. David, it's great to see you again. We spoke remotely the last time. It's great to have you. It's great to have you in situ here, chatting to us. Enjoy tonight, and enjoy today. It's great for Dumfries School to be getting a grant as well. That's through the
Rise Foundation,
isn't it?
Well, Rise is a foundation I started up, Greg, and I started it. And Tom O'Neill, his wife Shelley, and my wife, they're all on the board. And it's a foundation we started to help people in rural Ireland use technology to deliver social services or create dignified jobs. And it's the Rise Foundation that NBI supports that'll be given that grant.
Excellent. All right, listen, great to have you in. Thanks for the update.
Anytime you're looking for someone, I'll be glad to come.
All right, David, thanks so much. That's David McCourt, who is the chair of National Broadband Ireland, who said there in the coming months, the remaining 25%. Is it all done? Sorry, this is one question I meant to ask. It's all done wired, isn't it? Do you use any sort of deflector satellite systems?
It's all fiber.
All fiber. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Thanks very much.
A lot of it.
How many times around the world?
4 times around the world.
My word. Okay. Back after these.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Looking for somewhere special to relax and enjoy great food? Come to the Isis Centre and Celtic Prayer Garden, F93 F104. Every Friday it's Fish and Chip Friday, fresh and delicious. Now opened on Saturdays. Enjoy our all-day breakfasts, the perfect way to catch up with friends. And don't forget our full menu and daily specials served all week. We also cater for groups of any size, so why not come and spend the day with us? Call 07493 84866. The Isis Centre, Island of Saints and Scholars.
Brian McCormick, Sports and Leisure Main Street Letterkenny. Just launched at BMC Sports is the new ASICS GT 2014. Offers pure gel technology and FF foam for that springy feel. New range of Keanu, Nimbus and Nova Blast for men and women. In-store and online. Get your safe size experience at Brian McCormick Sports, Main Street Letterkenny. Or click on bmcsports.ie. Get your ASICS delivered free of charge. Christmas Club now open.
Keep your car running like new at Shane Connolly Cars, Donegal Town. We service all vehicles, including hybrids and plug-in hybrids, using quality products and the latest diagnostics. Finishing every service with a free car wash. Relax in our waiting room with Wi-Fi, tea and coffee. And ask about our cover car options. Book your service today at Shane Connolly Cars on 9175783.
Right now, at B&Q, get 3 for 2 on selected interior paint, including white paint from brands like Dulux, Leyland and Lick, making autumn the perfect time for an indoor refresh for less. Shop in store or at DIY.ie. You can do it when you B&Q it. Ends 3rd of November. Exclusions apply. See DIY.ie.
Hi everyone, Michael English here. Don't forget to join me and my band for my annual dancing weekend this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. I'll be there Friday night with my band along with Jerry Guthrie and Stuart Moyen. Saturday night I'll be there again with my band, Jack Keogh and Kieran McAree. And Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. join me and my band for an afternoon of dancing for all the family. That's this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. See you there.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in-store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
So, mainly dry and cloudy today with just limited bright or sunny spells, along with possibly the odd patch of mist and drizzle, temperatures 12 to 14 degrees. In studio with me now is Jason O'Connor. He's a nurse with PANSMA, the Palestinian, Australian and New Zealand Medical Association. And earlier this year, Jason went to Gaza as part of the PANSMA to bring medical aid to the people of Palestine. And he joins me in studio now. Jason, thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Greg. Hello.
So you actually got into Gaza. When was that?
It was the end of April, and then I was basically there for pretty much the whole of May.
Describe it to us.
It's indescribable,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. It's like a complete moonscape. There's literally not a building or a road that is not destroyed or has some level of, destruction, windows smashed, heavy artillery shell, like pockmarks. It's just.
What was your engagement with the people like? Like what was the is their existence?
Their existence is awful, to be honest with you. When I was there, it was probably.
Can I ask you to move a little closer? You're quite softly spoken, which is nice. Sorry, don't get me wrong.
Sorry.
But it's just I want everyone to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Their existence is just so bad, to be honest with you. I was there probably pushing 2 months into the blockade. By that stage, like, food was quite scarce. The staff that I was working with were barely getting, a meal a day. The organisation that I went in with provided us with a meal in the evenings, and then when we went into Gaza, myself and the 3 doctors, we were actually able to bring some of our own supplies in with us, but it was restricted by weight, so it was a matter of bringing in, stuff that was,
But you were restricted in what you could bring in.
Yeah.
How is that exercised, that restriction?
Well, to be honest with you, everything that gets in and out of Gaza is observed by the Israelis. So our baggage was checked 3 times at least before we actually even got into.
To the point whereby
Gaza.
this is not to make sure you've got a hand grenade or a gun.
No.
This is food, right? So
Yes,
if you deem to have too much food, that food is taken from you.
That would have been confiscated,
Yeah.
yes. And any medication that we would have taken in that was say, not ours or deemed in excess, they would have.
What do you believe, if you can put yourself in this brain space, would be the motivation for restricting how much medicine and food, demonstrably medicine and food, could go into a region?
Well, without getting political, because I was wanting to keep this as my experience, kind of.
Unfortunately, this has to fall apart.
I realise that. To be honest with you, if we're going to go down that route, what has gone on in Gaza has been, from what I can see and from my experience here, has been planned. What they've targeted, what they've restricted in and out, is all designed to keep the Palestinian people and the Gazan people on the barest minimum of food.
Did you see a Hamas presence there when you were in there? You were in Al Shifa Hospital as well, which was effectively described as a base for Hamas. But did they have any influence on you or interaction with you over there?
None whatsoever. My interaction, the reason I ended up in Shifa ICU primarily was because I have some experience in coronary care in Letterkenny here, so I would be, well enough versed in looking after sick patients. We would have had patients transferred in and out of ICU with myself in CCU here, but when I went into Shifa, it was a case of the most nurses that I'd come across there that could speak English, because I speak literally no Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
The most nurses that I came across that were able to speak and speak well in English were in the intensive care unit. So that's where I got placed.
Did you get a set, like, did people try and get on with their lives? If you know what I mean, as impossible as that may seem, right? Because the place is it's ruined. Obviously, the noises, the starvation, the illness, the general stuff that's unimaginable. But did locals try and find a way to have some semblance of a normality even in that situation?
They did, and to be fair to them, Greg, to be honest with you, I've actually visited quite a lot of countries in the world throughout my years, and what they are subjected to and how they still function is just absolutely mind-blowing. They have literally nothing there, and on my final days when I was coming away, they were actually bringing me gifts. Myself and the doctors that I went in with over the last week or 10 days, we realised that our time was coming to an end there and we would be exiting. So we literally gave all of our food away, all of our excess medication, clothing. Literally, we left with nothing but the clothes that we were wearing.
Yeah.
And the people were bringing me gifts.
Yeah.
As I'm leaving,
Those that, started, promoted, facilitated the war, and now those that are sort of claiming the peace, so to speak, putting that to one side, what do you think for the future? The killing seems to have stopped. I'm not saying it's not happening and there aren't isolated instances, and there seems to be some sort of internal struggles in Gaza now as well, which is, again, as soon as the people of Gaza feel maybe there's a breather, you start seeing sort of infighting to some extent. But how hopeful are you for the future finally, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, if I'm being bluntly honest, I wouldn't be too hopeful. Every ceasefire, if you look back through history, every ceasefire that the Israelis have entered into, they've never actually managed to stick to. I was in contact with nursing staff there as recently as the day before yesterday, like video calling, and they were displaced to the south and have returned to Gaza City in the last week, 10 days, and they've got absolutely nothing to come back to. So the sheer
Where do you start? Like,
absolutely.
Where do you
sheer
start?
building project.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Even
going
clearing unexploded ordnance and rubble. Where do you blooming start?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even something. I was going to see about beginning some sort of fundraising effort myself soon, because even it's going into their winter there now, and even things like tents or shelter, because they have no homes basically left in most instances.
Okay.
They've got shelters or tents that are not fit for purpose. You know.
I'm sure if you're organising anything locally, we'll hear about it. Do you intend to return?
To be honest with you, that's why I was so quiet about my experience for this long, because I had intended to go back and I didn't want to go anywhere or say anything or do anything that would jeopardise that. I did recently speak to PANSMA again about going back in, but the Ministry of Health in Gaza and the UN are so desperately in need of medical staff that the nursing staff have kind of been put on the back burner. But as soon as I get another chance to go in, much to my poor wife's chagrin, I will probably take the chance.
All right, Jason, listen, thanks for calling in for a chat. I mean, obviously it's such an expansive topic, and we had 15 minutes, but we covered quite a bit there and got a sense of the reality from your perspective of being there. Thank you so much for calling in.
No problem. You're welcome.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Tugan vaccini neart breise go de choras im Nienachta, chun tú chosin ser chinnes trom chúiseach. Maltarhuit vaccine flu oil, má tá tú seaca blin díis nó níos sinna, más aibrí cuarim sláintehu, má tá tú gumper clinna, nó má tá rucht sláinte fad sermachart. Maltarhuit vaccine COVID-19 oil freshen, má tá tú seaca blin díis nó níos sinna, nó má tá rucht sláinte fad sermachart. Cur vaccine le de lista rudí atá le dana, agus cosan hu hain agus de hailachs na mian amach roin. Laur le doctor no cógasóir ran fortach, no tuaircuairt ar HSE.ie le haid sila ólis. Ón HSE.
You value healthy choices in season and on their plates with Lidl Plus. The delicious crunch of the crop. Fresh broccoli 44% off, now 89 cent. And leave them bursting with joy with juicy white grapes 41% off, now 169. Lidl, more to value.
At Uisce Éireann, we're upgrading Ireland's water network to ensure a clean, safe and reliable supply for everyone. Sometimes this work can be disruptive. That's why we have a free text alert service providing real-time updates on outages and planned works over 4 hours in your area. So far, over 250,000 people have signed up. Join them and stay informed. Sign up today with your mobile number and air code at water.ie. Uisce Éireann, delivering water services for Ireland.
If the medical experts get it wrong, everything changes. From misdiagnosis or delayed diagnosis to surgical injury or even poor treatment, all have physical, emotional and financial consequences. We're here to help. So if your treatment didn't go according to plan, speak to our experienced medical negligence team at McElhenney & Associates. Find us online or call 074 917 5989. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. In contentious business, a solicitor may not calculate fees or other charges as a percentage or proportion of any award or settlement.
This Halloween is back and it's bigger, better and scarier than ever before. Fawn Fright Nights return to the Lochswilly Marina from the 27th to the 31st of October. Dare to enter the haunted house if you think you can handle it. Open nightly from 7 to 10 p.m. and the best part, the price only €10. Fawn Fright Night, Lochswilly Marina Fawn. Over 12s only. Not suitable for anyone who's pregnant or with a heart condition.
Join Paul McDevitt with the Saturday Shuffle, coming live from iMotors and Drumkeen, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday. Your road to 261 starts here. It's the iMotors Open Weekend, October 16th to 19th. See the stunning 2026 Kia lineup, including the all-new EV4, EV5, K4, Stonic, Nissan Leaf and Juke. Pre-order before October 23rd for your chance to win €10,000. And this Saturday, enjoy free gourmet burgers from DL Burgers, 12 to 4 p.m.
with all the stories that matter across the Northwest. It's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
And we're into what's going to be another busy hour here on the 9 till Noon Show. At a minute past 11, let's get a news update from Michaela Clark. Good morning, Michaela.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. It's emerged that a Bloody Sunday family has received a death threat. Mickey McKinney has confirmed that his family received a death threat which resulted in a meeting with police on the 9th of October during the trial of Soldier F, who is charged with the murder of his brother William McKinney. Foyle MP Colm Eastwood has condemned what he has described as a sickening threat. The owners of the former Applegreen store in Creaslawn, where 10 people lost their lives in an explosion, are set to lodge a planning application for a new service station close to the site. Annette and Danny Martin Lafferty are seeking permission to demolish an existing dwelling adjacent to the site of the explosion and subsequent development works. Previously, An Commission Pleanála overturned Donegal County Council's decision to grant permission to Vivo Shell Limited for the development of a shop and filling station on the site of the explosion. Letterkenny University Hospital remains one of the most overcrowded hospitals in the country today. According to the INMO, 40 patients are waiting for a bed at the hospital this morning, making it the third most overcrowded hospital. Yesterday, the hospital warned that its emergency department was extremely busy and that all available beds were in use. Taoiseach Micheál Martin says the presidential election is still all to play for. That's despite Catherine Connolly holding a commanding 8-point lead over Heather Humphreys in yesterday's Irish Times Ipsos poll. Voting will be underway this time next week in the race to be the next president. There's renewed calls for a review of trees along roadsides and in housing estates in Donegal following the recent storm Amy. Councillor Thomas Sean Devine claims in one area during the storm, residents were forced to remove damaged trees themselves before they fell on parked vehicles. Donegal County Council says there is a process in place whereby works to cut trees are carried out and the landowner retrospectively invoiced. Ballybuffet and Stranorder Chamber of Commerce is calling for people to refrain from abusing litter bins in the area. It says bins are not designed for vehicle or household waste and are being abused in certain areas. The Chamber says this makes it hazardous for staff maintaining and emptying the bins. And the 2025 Tip O'Neill Irish Diaspora Awards ceremony is taking place tonight. The awards recognise members of the global Irish diaspora who have demonstrated exceptional service and achievement while maintaining strong ties to their Irish roots. This year's recipients are Danny Hutton, Vincent Keaveney and Eileen and Sean Donaghy. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
Thank you, Michaela.
Text or WhatsApp your view to Greg on 086 60 25,000.
Fearing the weekly shop? Your money now goes even further with our new Aldi Price Drops. Fill your bag with your faves, fresh wraps, pesto, maybe pancakes? You know, good food, the bits you need, and the treats you deserve. Then head to the till, check the bill, and breathe. Save even more with Aldi Price Drops.
Okay, thanks for your calls and comments coming in so far this morning. It's been a busy one. We are going to get to as many of those as we can before the end of the programme. But I'm delighted to welcome onto the programme Louise Gallagher from Derry, who's executive producer and co-creator of Blue Lights. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Louise.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on what's been a huge success.
Thanks very much. Yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yeah, I'm at a disadvantage here, right? Because it's one of the programs I'm saving up. Okay,
and okay.
Normally,
no
right,
spoilers.
Yeah, well, I trust you wouldn't, but normally it's just a strange position because I'm actually a viewer, right? So, but it's on the list, but it's one of those on the list that's actually going to be watched because I wasn't really aware of season 1 and 2, but it seems season 3 is everywhere in terms of talking points.
Yeah. We're covering. I mean, we're covering a lot of talking points. I mean, this year we covered domestic violence, obviously the drug trade through Ireland as a transit zone into the rest of into the UK and Europe, and yeah, there's that much going on, and then we've a dementia storyline as well. So yeah, we try and the whole purpose of the show is following response officers. Who in season 1 they come straight out of training college, And from our research and from talking to officers, they're thrown in at the deep end pretty much on day one. And they have been faced with anything from, a cat up a tree to, a body that's maybe been, in a house for several days, but all this, day-to-day life stuff happens. So we're following our three main characters, Annie, Tommy, and Grace, as they navigate the Belfast, really.
Yeah, and the second series focused on a loyalist feud in the city, and people are
Yes.
enjoying the third series now. When we watch big shows on the telly, and I'm putting this in with the big shows, it's based on stuff, violence and activity in Baltimore, or it's in Florida, or it's in New York, or it's in Glasgow, right? It's still a funny old spot in Ireland and Northern Ireland, Rex. It's all very local, and you're a Derry woman, and you're tackling issues. Is it like walking on broken glass, or what? Do you get where I'm coming from? It'd be like if I started sort of speaking on this show about something very, very local that would be very controversial. It would be easy to talk about it in another place or about another place.
That's not the approach that I took or my fellow creators took on it. We wanted to make a story about our place in our voice and from our perspective. There's a lot of programs coming to Ireland, north and south, that are in from other big companies or in other countries, telling our story their way. But we wanted to tell our story our way.
Yeah, I get you.
And so, I mean, I grew up watching police shows, Cagney and Lacey, Hill Street Blues, The Wire, you mentioned Baltimore, Southland, and they're always, the reason why people watch police shows is because it's a great vehicle for drama.
Yeah.
You can get really into sort of really interesting stories. It's brilliant for actors to play. They can really get into the characters. And that's what I just wanted to do. And I had met people who were social work. I'd worked in the BBC for years myself in Belfast in radio. So I'd always been meeting people from different backgrounds, different worlds. And I'd met a couple of social workers who made the decision to become police officers because they felt they could do something more beneficial and helping their community. And that's where the idea came from. That sort of, and they were talking about the change from going from social work, where those qualities of a social worker really do help when you become a police officer, because you have to be able to talk to people and you have to be able to listen to people. So that's where that came from.
While it's a drama, it's important that there's an ethos there of its authenticity and its reality, but also lived experience from within communities to see how people transition between various roles and why they do so.
Yeah, and I mean, the POV of this was always going to be from police officers going into situations, no matter what they are, and they're told, you go in, you deal with the person, you deal with the suspected crime or incident. So it was, how is this affecting them? At the end of the day, they've chosen to do this job. They're also human beings. They have partners, families, mummies, daddies, the whole thing. So the whole focus was the person behind the uniform. How does going in and seeing trauma after trauma, maybe 3 or 4 different types of trauma, or trauma is trauma, but 3 and 4 different incidents of it on a 12-hour shift, something that, me and you would never have to do, or the vast majority of your listeners would never have to do, bar paramedics and fire service. So it was just, how does this affect them as a human being, and how do they react to it, and how does that, and how do they live their life? Can they put that away when they go home at night?
So something's commissioned, and then you've got the script, and you think this is a great script, and then you start filming it, and things are going really well, and you like the way the story is being told, and it feels good, and on set everyone's really positive, and whoever commissioned it starts saying, I've watched a couple of episodes, it's fantastic. Maybe even you get a good positive review in a newspaper. What does it feel like then when the public, and I'm on about a broad section of society, in their millions, starts to go, you have to watch this, I've watched this, this is brilliant, I like that character? Because that, for me, I think, would be when it's like, wow.
Aye, and it still hasn't sunk in, to be honest with you. It's there was a little social media post that the brilliant social media team in the BBC in London did last week, set in the city centre, and for the first time, it was actual members of the public being sort of vox popped, saying, "What is it you like about this show?" And it was only a wee 3-minute clip. I was in tears because it was the first time, and I'm a really emotional person anyway. And I just thought, oh my God, people are really connecting with this, and it is the characters, and it is their situations, and that's down to the brilliant writing of our writers, Declan Lawn and Adam Patterson, and our guest writers as well. We've several guest writers on the show: Noel McCann, Brona Taggart, and Fran, and it just it's just brilliant. It's, you come up with an idea, and you build a team around you to come up with it, but you only think of where you are at that stage.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
you really don't go, oh, we're going to do this and it's going to be that and blah blah blah. You don't. You're literally one step at a time. Because trying to get any television series away is a long process, very long. It took years to get blue lights, even for anyone to take it seriously at all. And that first person to take it seriously was Stephen Wright when he was the head of drama at the BBC in Belfast. There's a phrase in our industry called development hell, and that's what it is. You will be in that. So I first took that idea to Stephen in 2015, and we didn't start shooting until like 2021.
It's obviously a huge success because it's not just now for a scheduled TV audiences, it's streaming platforms, it's global, and it's massive. And the BBC now, like any organisation that's publicly funded, under a great deal of scrutiny, right? So they've commissioned you again already for a 4th season. If there was a graph of pressure, right? So, a graph of pressure from season 1 to 3 and sort of heading towards 4, is it sustained? Is the pressure greater now? Is the team confident whereby you would never rest on your laurels, but you know what you're doing?
Yeah, we have a really strong vision. The vision's very strong. And we have this is what this show, we know what this show is about. We know our point of view. We know what we're telling. The pressure really is in the turnaround of it. So season 3 just went out on air there at the end of September. We'd already started sort of writing, Declan and the writing team had already started writing season 4. So we're already writing season 4. The whole team are up and running. We go into prep now in October, and we start shooting it early next year for delivery this time next year. So season 4 will hopefully, all being well, be out around this time again next year. So it's pretty intense, but you just have to get on with it. That's what we're in this job to do, and there's no point in whinging about it because that's what keeps the lights on,
Yeah, and you just close your eyes and think of the development stage. If you
yeah,
ever
you just, as I say, in anything like this, you just take it one step at a time. There's no point in panicking about what's down the road. You just have no idea what's down the road, so you just let's get the scripts in the best position they can be in as quickly as possible so that we can give it to our production crew, and then they can go and create the world that you all see on television.
Again, I'm probably actually going to start this weekend now because I have a couple of days off next week.
Oh, you have to.
I am. It's you save something up and then you'll be afraid you forget to actually start it. And there's a lot of not great stuff out there. I don't mean that badly, Louise. In terms of story arcing, sorry, just this is more fanboy types of questions. You don't know. There's nothing worse than when a series ends and maybe the writers or the producers haven't wrapped it up, but at the same time you don't want to leave. You want to maybe leave something hanging there. What's the approach when you're writing sort of?
Well, because we knew we had 4 seasons. After season 1 or season 2 went out, I think we were given a double commission, which was fantastic because then that gave us that space to really broaden out the stories and leave things hanging at the end of 3, which we know we will explore in season 4. So that was such a gift, which means that we had 12 hours of television to work with as opposed to 6. So that's what we're doing now. Once you binge season 3 this weekend, Greg, which I know you will.
No, I'm going to start 1. I have to start 1. I've got 1
you haven't
to
even
enjoy.
started 1?
Oh no,
my
I've got
God.
1 to look forward to.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
right.
I'm going to be on the 18-hour journey. Don't you worry about
Okay,
that.
well-
One final question about the 6-hour. So it seems to be a British-Irish kind of a thing whereby the Americans might go for 8, 10, 12. My word, sometimes it's 20. 6 seems to be the sweet spot, because I just finished Fearless actually last night, which is an older ITV show, which was really good, right?
Yeah.
And there wasn't too many episodes, and there wasn't too. As a storyteller, is 6 hour the sweet spot in your perspective?
Well, it all comes down to budget as well.
Suppose,
public service broadcasters don't have the same deep pockets as the streamers would have, so that's basically, I think, what it comes down to. Is the money.
Okay. All right.
And the lack thereof.
I think, though, sometimes to get that money, there's a lot of padding, and I just find I wasn't a fan of the 6 hours, but now I'm warming to them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and where, as you said yourself, there's a lot of choice out there at the moment as well. So it takes a lot of work to get something to punch through, to capture people's imaginations. It's going to keep them coming back every week.
Yeah. And very finally, from your perspective, Louise, as executive producer and co-creator, the co-creating work's done now, but this is an ongoing work. Does this take all of your time, a project of this scale? Or is there other things that you can do?
Yeah, it does take up a lot of time. I mean, I also have another job. I work for Hat-Trick Productions,
another big company,
who would have made Father Ted and Derry Girls, and so I run their Belfast office as well as their development executive. So I do have a lot of plates spinning at the minute. So I'm working with new and emerging writers from all over the island of Ireland, and trying to find another new hit. So
yeah, no doubt you will. All right, thanks for so much of your time, considering it's so
my pleasure.
It's so
Thank you for having me.
limited. Lovely to chat to you. Thanks, Louise. Continued
all
success.
The best.
Bye bye.
And enjoy the show when you get the chance.
And you know what? I feel it's just to get a chat with you, and now I'm going to sit there and I'll say to the other half, I'll say, you know what? I was chatting to the creator of this yesterday.
Yeah.
Cheers, Louise. God bless you. Thanks
all right,
so much.
Thanks
Keep
a million.
up the
all the best.
work.
Have a good day.
Bye. Louise Gallagher from Derry, executive producer and co-creator of Blue Lights. It's that big success. It's up there now with, is it Line of Duty and so on and so forth. So season 3's out there now. There's no point. I wouldn't be the type to pretend it's been on the list, but I haven't got round to it. But it's that type of a chat then that sort of makes you go, oh, okay, I'll start that. I'll have a go.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Attention students, TFI Local Link bus services available nationwide can connect you to a wide range of colleges all year round. Save up to 50% on cash fares when you use your TFI Young Adult or Student Leap Card. For route and timetable information, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're Transport for you.
Tá astrú na Héireann go tobachaí ina bhfuil fuinneamh níos glynne ag tarlú díreach faoi do chosa. Le líon ra gáis atá ag iompar níos mó gáis ina nuaite, ag tabhairt fuinneamh níos inmhúnathe chuat bhealach éasca ón taobha. Líon rí gáis na Héireann, ag iompar inneamh na Héireann.
Residential property owners, time is running out. You need the valuation band of your property and to submit your local property tax return by the 7th of November. The easiest way to submit your return is online through My Account, Ross or the LPT portal. For more information, visit www.revenue.ie/LPT or call 01 738 3626 if you need assistance. Submit your local property tax return today to ensure you don't miss the deadline.
Across the supermarket aisle, your eyes meet, and you just know this is the real deal. Food that makes you go, mmm. Drinks that make you feel, ooh. That's the power of Love Irish food brands. Local brands, made with devotion, enjoyed with passion.
You feel the power
of Love Irish food.
You feel the power of love.
Look for Love Irish food on pack.
Can you feel it?
The future of driving is here. Hyundai are built for what's next, so you can step into tomorrow, today. With innovations in smart tech and style, Hyundai continues as a leader, selling the most plug-in and electric cars in Ireland. The future is today. The future is Hyundai. Step into the future of driving by visiting the Hyundai 261 Open Weekend.
Your local dealer is Divers Hyundai, Canal Road, Letterkenny.
Shekelatha ama Highland Radio. Arna Dortugat ag Airgrid. Uproar agus forbor anga letrahas na Héireann. Airgrid. Pobl a guachtu, éire a guachtu. Tá sé
The time's 11:21, and we've got a wealth of talent in the arts on this island, not least women. Louise Gallagher of Blue Lights fame. Great to chat to her. And now have the pleasure of chatting to Anne Gilday, who's coming again to On Green On Theatre on the 25th of October for her new show, Further Adventures in Womening. Good morning, or some up here would say womening. Anne, lovely to have you on the programme.
Well, good morning, Greg. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear. How are you keeping?
Oh, that's good. I'm of that age. I don't trust the technology. We're doing this on Zoom, and I'm like, oh,
no, it's fantastic. Because we get to hear you and we get to see you as well. Obviously, many people have already seen this show, and
oh no, this is a brand new one. This is a brand new one. The last show I did.
It's a bit cheeky putting the reviews from the last show on this show's poster.
Oh, which review? Go on, tell me.
A truly hilarious legend. That's you. 200% recommend.
These are from audience. Those quotes are from audience people.
Aye, exactly.
Audience people, ladies. Yeah. I have to tell you, Greg, my last show was How to Get the Menopause and Enjoy It.
Yes.
And I was up in Letterkenny in December last year, and we recorded it. And so I've been putting up loads of clips from that show on my socials. And that's all. There's lots of shots of the audience, so people in Letterkenny can see themselves. It was the best show ever. It was the last show I did of How to Get the Menopause, and then I pivoted around, and I've been working on this show for a couple of years. So this is a brand new one, everybody. This is totally new.
And we'll re-emphasize that because it is important. Because we do know, and we had great feedback. We spoke to you ahead of that last show. Of the last,
I remember talking to you, Greg,
and we got great feedback from it. So, I mean, you're dipping into womaning again, but there's no end of material there, is there?
There's, Greg, no end of material. I think what inspired it was talking to older women after my last show. I began to think about, wow, how things have changed over the last few decades for women. And so I guess the jumping off point is thinking about my mum and what life was like for her. And then, because I'm Generation X and we were kind of the first generation raised on telly, I started thinking about all the images of women I would have grown up with, like the idea that you'd have the cross-your-heart bra and the 18-hour girdle, and you'd be doing the chiffon scarf test in the morning to make sure your legs weren't hairy. And I just started throwing my mind back and reminiscing, because it's quite a nostalgic show, thinking of all those images of the housewifey woman and what she was supposed to be and how that's changed utterly.
But that's why
a terrible beauty is born.
Yeah, that's why your show though is so popular, because if the audience member don't recognize themselves in you or what you're saying, they certainly are going to recognize another woman in their life, because the stuff you're talking about, many of us have lived through, but you forget about it. It's like the cross-your-heart bra. I remember the ads now as a mid-teen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, or in the country area, some people call that the sheepdog bra. Round them up and point them out. And I also started looking back at the way things were legally for women, like with the marriage bar, which only ended in the early 70s. And, the fact, actually, a woman told me this, I didn't realize that when women got married back in the day, they would lose their tax number, their PPS number, and they'd be given a new one, which was their husband's with a W at the end of it. And that was not finally phased out until the year 2000. And it's amazing when you look back at the way everything was framed. It was very much the women were kind of second-class citizens. And I love just touching on that in a funny way, and just to remind younger women, because I have to say, Greg, younger women love the show too.
They do.
I find generations of women come together to the show.
Of course, I can imagine. And it's laugh after laugh after laugh, and elbow, and that's me, or that's your auntie, or whatever it might be, right? But the women, the challenges women face, and I'm sure the younger audience will understand this, that the challenge women face particularly change, but they're still there.
Oh, absolutely.
But just different challenges.
It's, but I think what I try and do in the show is keep it very joyous, and it also turns.
I'm not trying to kill the buzz, Anne.
Oh, challenge! It's such a challenge. Well, the way I look at it, Greg, life is a challenge
Yeah.
for everybody. And I have to say, fellas, come to and laugh their heads off. Life is a challenge for everybody. And I think my attitude is you have to laugh.
Of course, and the
And you have
audience
to,
reviews are, you will hear from on certain shows, it was a great show. This gets that as well, but also it's seen as sort of a great night out, whereas you've already talked there of people going in groups and what have you.
yeah, and I just remind people of jingles and team tunes from old TV, and it turns into this has happened organically, but it turns into a big sing along. And women love that because I find across Ireland, women, Greg, have the most amazing voices. So we'll have the whole audience singing the Just One Cornetto in
It's
amazing
funny, that's the
operatic
song. The song
voices.
was in, when you mentioned a little earlier on, I'm not fascinated with bras or anything, but as you were talking, while I was speaking to you, because my mind works in strange ways, that song, we took the wire out of underwire bras and we don't wear a wire anymore. Do you remember that one? I don't know why it came into my head.
We took the wire out of under. Was that a
It was
jingle?
about it was an advert, and it was about taking the wire out of the underwire bra, and we don't wear a wire
Oh my
anymore.
God, that's going in the show.
Write that down.
That's going to be fresh in the show in Letterkenny. And I have to say, Letterkenny, I'll be coming fresh from London because I'm over in the Irish Culture Centre in Hammersmith on the Thursday,
Yeah.
and then I'm coming fresh to Letterkenny on Saturday the 25th.
You are literally writing this down,
and
and
that's
you're a
going in
character.
underwire brass. I have to check that.
No, it's the song. There was this. I must try and see if I can find it. I don't know why it popped into my head. I think it's maybe we were boys and just thought it was hilarious that there was this song.
Greg, do you remember that whole thing that used to be hammered home, the 18-hour girdle? You had to have your 18-hour girdle. And now you look back and you go, what was the 18 hours about? Was that like the suggested length of the workday of the woman? Or was it the length of time you could wear it before the gangrene set in?
No, because you wear for 16 hours. You take the 8 hours off for your husband's pleasure. Then you see.
Yeah, you'd wear for 16 hours and spend 2 hours trying to peel the bloody thing off.
All right, brilliant stuff. I'm so excited if my suggestion makes it into your show, Anne. I'm trying to think now. I've never, what else could I suggest? But anyway, it's going to be a packed show because, firstly, obviously, people saw your last show and they got to see the last show of your last show. And now you've got this brand new show exploring all different avenues of womanhoods and womaning. And it's a brand new show and it's coming to On Green On Theatre Saturday, the 25th of October at 8 p.m. Are some of the stuff you talked about touring the show, and I know your shows are well received all over the shop, right? But these are, obviously you can Irish it up a little bit, right? But these are universal scenarios that we're talking about.
Yeah, we brought the last show, How to Get the Menopause Enjoy, went off to Europe, and we did some gigs in Luxembourg, and I really had a sense that oh wow, we could do this anywhere.
Yeah.
Because they are absolutely universal, and it's the same with this. This is a little bit more specifically Irish. But it'll be interesting to play in London because I think all our telly was coming very much from England, so there was the big link there.
Yeah,
and I have the big link with England myself because my mum, I was born in Manchester, and my mum went back there then when we grew up.
And I get a sense, Anne, obviously you're working, right, and there's pressures and challenges and booking and accommodation and all that kind of stuff, but I do get the feeling you do enjoy what you're doing, that you enjoy your shows, and there is obviously, you know what you're going to be saying to an extent, but there's a lot of audience interaction, and that helps guide and direct the show in its pace.
Well, yeah, because that's always been a big part of what I do. Because I've been doing this for so long. I was doing it for years before we started the Nulas. Because that was my big thing before this was that comedy trio, the Nulas, and we actually formed 30 years ago in 1995. So that's how long I've been at it, and I do love it, and I feel really, really privileged to be still able to keep going at it.
Lovely.
Because I can't tell you, Greg.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's like a vocation. I just love doing shows, and I feel after decades at it that I'm good at it and that I will deliver a brilliant night.
Yeah.
It's just gag, 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 and great fun. I really make it unique for every audience.
Yeah, and I think you've got a wee connection to Letterkenny too, so and Donegal as a whole. So it's like you can look extra special towards getting back. All right, it's Saturday the 25th of October. It's at 8 p.m. It's a brand new show, Further Adventurers in Womaning. You can get onto the On Green On box office right now to book your seat. As I say, it's cross-generational, you know, from your 18-year-old to your 88-year-old. I think they'll all enjoy it, and guys will enjoy it too. It's not all.
Guys love it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you see your mum or your older sister or even maybe yourself in it. All right, take care of yourself, Anne. Lovely to chat to you as always.
Thank you for having us on again, Greg. Lovely to see you.
Yes, exactly. You too, Anne. Bye-bye. Oh, my God, I cut her off a bit early there. Right, okay. Let us take a break. It's 11:32.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
Hi everyone, Michael English here. Don't forget to join me and my band for my annual dancing weekend this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. I'll be there Friday night with my band along with Jerry Guthrie and Stuart Moyen. Saturday night I'll be there again with my band, Jack Keogh and Kieran McAree. And Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. join me and my band for an afternoon of dancing for all the family. That's this weekend at the Abbey Hotel, Donegal Town. See you there.
My Future Fund, the new auto-enrollment retirement savings scheme, is coming. You pay in, your employer pays in, and the state tops it up. It all adds up to a great way to save for your future and something to look forward to. For more information, visit gov.ie/auto-enrollment. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Les Miserables, the musical phenomenon, is touring the world in a spectacular new production. The Arena Spectacular comes to 3 Arena from May 29th to June 6th. Tickets from $33.65 go on sale Wednesday, October 22nd. May be subject to fees.
It's the Donegal Creamery's Milk €500 cash splash. We're giving away €500 in cash every week. Scan the QR code on promotional packs of Donegal Creamery's Milk and you could be making a splash with €500 cash. Pick up special packs of Donegal Creamery's Milk in store to find out more. Terms and conditions apply. The €500 cash splash with Donegal Creamery's Milk.
Joe Gallagher Entertainment presents the Ultimate 70s Night, Sunday, October 26th. Get ready for Shawaddy Waddy and the Bay City Rollers live at the Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny. Sing and dance the night away to all the hits. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ie and hotel reception. Don't miss this unforgettable night, October 26th at the Mount Erigal Hotel, Letterkenny.
Workwear, workwear, workwear at Borderland Muff. Winter jackets, fleeces and hoodies at Borderland Muff. For fashion jeans and waterproofs, Borderland Muff. Christmas and Ski Wear Club now open. Stocking Columbia, Apache, Snickers and more. Open 7 days and online at borderlandmuff.ie.
Whether it's on a bagel, in a cheesecake, or your very own secret recipe, if you love using Philadelphia cream cheese, we want to hear from you. Highland Radio has teamed up with Philadelphia Cream Cheese, the original, for your chance to become a Philadelphia local ambassador and win a €250 voucher. For your chance to win, listen into Around the Northwest next week from 12 p.m. and keep an eye on our socials. All with thanks to Philadelphia, the best friend in everyone's fridge. You've got a friend in Philly.
Yeah, caller says, Greg, I often wonder if these crime shows are good or bad for tourism. Bergerac was set in Jersey and it was rife with crime, according to the TV show. Another place with beautiful scenery is the Shetland Isles, and they also have a very high crime rate, according to the telly. Midsummer may be an imaginary place, but it must be the most dangerous place in England. Then you had Jessica Fletcher, who couldn't go anywhere with murder following her about. I think she came to Ireland in one episode, and as usual, there was a murder. Maybe it's good for tourism, but sometimes it's not realistic to have so much crime in such a small area. I trust the audience. I trust the audience in this show, and I trust the audience on television. I don't think anyone's going to go to Mallinhead and expect to see a spaceship up there, for an example. All right, Shannon Wilkins is in with me now because Shannon is and has been perusing the world of entertainment, social media, just to keep us up to date, maybe give us some conversation for the younger people in our lives. Who's to say? Hiya, Shannon.
Hello, Greg.
How are you?
I'm great. How
Fresh
are you?
back from your jaunt in the capital. How was Dublin?
We just ate all around us.
Really? What did you have?
Yeah,
What was the nicest
so
thing?
I think I've been on to you about this before.
Yeah.
Sansab spice bags.
Right.
So they're Thai, they're not Chinese.
Okay.
And they're just
What's the
life
difference?
changing. They're a wee bit sweeter.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a sugary element to it. It wouldn't really be
Do
spicy.
the peppers and onion not already bring a bit of sweetness?
They do, but this just elevates it.
Yeah. But
you know?
spice bags, you can make really nice spice bags at home.
Aye, but it's effort, Greg. Like getting all your
It's not.
spices. out
No,
of the
you don't have to
cupboard
get all
when I
your
want.
spices. You get the little box of spice and it's perfect.
Mm.
You know, no, it is. I've done it at home myself, and they're indistinguishable. If you get a bit of that shredded chicken in a frozen bag, air fryer, fry off the onions, fry off the peppers, chuck it in, sprinkle on, bish bash bosh.
Bish bash bosh.
Right. Okay. What are we going to talk about first?
Do you want to start with the funny one?
You mean you taking the hand out of me?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Go on then.
So earlier in the week, I saw a comparison of Hillary Clinton to Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, don't know if I see it.
Yeah.
But the bone structure between Hillary and Sabrina is quite similar, and girls can completely change their faces with makeup.
Of course they can. So you
So-
got me to put on a pair of glasses. It seemed very suspect, but anyway, to what end?
Greg also has a doppelganger. I don't know, do you remember Harry Hill, the comedian, and the voice behind You've Been Framed? So I put up a wee picture. I did try to get AI to do it, but they wouldn't.
They wouldn't have it.
They wouldn't have it. They wouldn't let me bully Greg.
You should have got me to do the colours because I'm a good sport, you know. I would have done the colours for you.
We'll have to recreate it.
Yeah, so people used to actually say, believe it or not, that I looked like, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. It'll come back to me. Firstly, when I was younger, I looked like that Steve at EastEnders.
Steve.
You know, I think, yeah, I used to look like him. His birthday's actually the same. That's what people used to say. And Ollie Murs, that's the other one.
Ollie Murs?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day. Very good.
Now it's Harry Hill. Right, okay, thanks for that. Right.
I guess you're over the hill.
If you're watching social media, if you're watching, you'll see this comparison. It's not the worst. I could have played up to that a bit more, but anyway. Okay, so that's me and Harry Hill. Who's your doppelganger? Who do
my
people
hair
say you look like?
isn't really blonde at the moment, but when my hair is really blonde, sometimes people say Reese Witherspoon or Holly Willoughby.
Right. Okay. Holly Willoughby.
Holly
Okay.
Willoughby.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
quite honest. Right. What's next?
Well, I also forgot to add to that list there John Breslin, Kevin Bacon. That's obviously been discussed before.
Oh, interesting. Has
Yeah,
it been
do you see
discussed
it?
before?
Me and Lee Gooch, we've said it, and I think it's
Okay.
like public knowledge. And
John
then,
Breslin, Kevin. Yeah. Okay. So give
so
us
the wee
some other-
picture in there too.
Here she comes now. Look.
Oh,
There's
there's
another
Lee
one of him. Do you know who
himself.
he looks like?
I
Lee Gooch
don't
looks
know.
like the hamster off the hamster off Top Gear.
You know who-
Richard Hammond.
Yeah.
Lee
kind
Gooch and
of.
Richard Hammond are the spit of each other.
Do you know what? This is another
Come in
kind
here,
of
Gooch. Come in here a second. now.
offensive one.
No, you sit down there now.
You mentioned my name once,
Have-
that was fine, and then I came in.
Have you ever heard your reference looking like Richard Hammond?
Is that the hamster?
Yeah.
Oh, do I look? He's kind of cool enough, isn't he?
Yeah, for 1 second
I don't
now.
look like Richard Hammond. He's straight
One
hair
sec.
and small.
Wee bit.
Excuse me.
But there's another one as well when Lee wears his glasses. Have you seen the daddy out of the Coraline movie?
No.
Is he handsome?
1 second now.
No,
Come on, I
he's
want to
really
get Richard
scary.
Hammond up
Oh,
here.
thanks very much, Shannon. We have to come back.
I'm
Right,
gonna-
okay,
we're gonna
so
Show me the pictures now.
Right, come round here. Look at this
I
now.
want to get me scary glasses on.
There we go. Look.
Richard Hammond.
Yeah, look.
Hammond's not so bad, is he? But it
No,
doesn't
but
look
you
like
look a
me.
wee bit. Yeah, you do.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Well, who does Greg look like then?
Oh, we've already had the insults.
You look like the boxer boy without the body.
All right, okay.
The curly hair and the glasses.
So, come here, Gooch. You're off work. What are you doing in here for crying
no,
out loud?
I'm hijacking Highland Radio's printer. I need to print off a thing to sign a wee document, so I'm in.
Right. Have you
I
cleared
thought
this?
I'd break myself an easy as well, you know.
You're back Monday, and I'm off Monday. I'm off Monday, Tuesday,
Are you?
Wednesday. Yeah.
God almighty, just...
I have just tried. I've got to use my days up, and I've got a few bits and bobs to do.
Yeah.
I was yesterday. We were doing a piece about, or read a piece about, a third of Irish people don't take their annual leave. You know, so.
Oh, when you have it, use it.
Yeah, but
Use it
what
or
happens
lose it.
is when we've a small staff here, and when you've got 4 or 5 people in this crossover, and everyone's got 10 days, and you've got 2 months, do the maths.
I know.
It's very
why.
difficult.
It's a bit...
You can't have any days left.
I do.
Yeah?
I'm kind of juggling now. I have I better speak to the boss upstairs first before...
Yeah, before you reveal all.
Yeah, so I have about maybe 3.
Okay.
Could push it out to 4, and then there's a bank holiday weekend around the corner.
Right,
Kind of...
okay.
Oof. Should talk to people before I talk on the radio.
And one other thing, come here, you are, there's lots coming up, but you're also involved in the big Christmas bingo party night.
Oh God, I'm looking forward to that.
How exciting is that?
No, but it's great, and I'm looking forward to getting back now, because now it's like we have a lot of groundwork done, and we want to make it a really, really fun night for anybody.
So where is it?
Oh, my mind's blank now. I'm just out of the gym. I think it is. I'm just out of the gym.
End of November?
Yes, 28th.
Fantastic
Is it?
night.
Saturday night. Thanks, Greg, for pulling me out of the waters there.
I think I'm in the Villa Rose yesterday, tomorrow, for my niece's wedding, so I'll do a recce for you.
Yeah,
How's
but
that?
it's a great venue. It's going to be a great location. And it's that time of year as well. It's Christmassy and people want to let their hair down. And, the usual, there's nothing wrong with them. The usual Christmas party nights, you go out and have your meal and there might be a band or a DJ and that's it and blah-de-blah. But this is kind of more interactive. Some of your colleagues might be performing in such a way that you get a good giggle, so there's lots of strength and there's chances of winning great prizes. There's a grand cash there as well. So if you're looking for a little bit difference and if you want a few belly laughs, and sometimes it's nice to be a wee bit silly because we can be a wee bit too serious sometimes.
Oh, sorry, okay, I'm just comparing you here to Richard Hammond. Right. All right, hamster, thanks very
All
much.
right, hamsters
indeed.
goes. Nice talking to you.
All right, bye-bye. See you soon. Right, okay, that was Lee Gooch. You just never know who's going to pop in. Right, so what were we talking about there? Yeah, any other doubles, get them into us, 086 60 25,000. Someone in Donegal or someone at Highland Radio in particular would be good fun. I don't mind you taking the hand out of me, by the way, so I'm not easily offended. But is there any other doubles out there? Right, okay, one more before the break. And I'll come back to you then.
What will we do? You already had her on during the week,
Oh,
but the
yes.
90-year-old granny graduating from uni.
Yeah, let's have a look at her and have a wee listen to her.
Anybody can do it. And what age are you for anyone that doesn't know? 90. 19? No. I think you would know to look at me that I was not 19.
90 years old, how do you feel?
Same as I did when I was 89, actually. I'm graduating today. Yes, I haven't done it yet, but I will do it in a few minutes.
And are you excited for it?
I'm amazed, to be honest.
And it's a lovely story too, because she was able to go back to university following the sad passing of her husband, and also she's just joined up, I'm not sure if it's in your notes, to a creative writing course. So what a lady,
Yeah.
a real inspiration. And it's not that what she was trying to get across and did eloquently, it's not that, every 80 or 90-year-old out there should go back to university. It's just that you are never, it's never the wrong time to go back and push the boat out and increase your education, etc. So she's an amazing lady from Derry. Yep, you speak now.
Fair play to her.
What's
And
next?
I love that guy in Belfast because he rolls out the red carpet for people just on the street and they tell their story.
Is that his thing? Is it?
And they
Right.
feel special. So you get a great story. Like one lady, I think, he stopped her in the street and she got a modelling career out of it.
Oh, wow.
And she was in her 70s, I think. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Stay there. We'll be back with more news from the realm of social media after these.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
As a parent, you always remember the little things, but don't forget the bigger ones. When it comes to child safeguarding, do you know who to speak to in your child's school and clubs?
Under Children First, all organisations working with children and young people need to have strong measures in place to safeguard children. To learn more about Children First, visit gov.ie/Children First.
We were all children once. Now we are children first. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
She's the Queen of Country and Irish, Margot, live in concert. Catch Margot with the Ryan Turner Band Wednesday the 22nd of October at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny, with special guests Shani Cramsey and Damian Davis. Tickets available now at the hotel reception. Call 07491 22 700. Join Margot at the Mount Errigal Hotel October 22nd for an unforgettable evening of music and memories.
Autumn is alive with a kaleidoscope of colour, nature and adventure at National Trust NI. Unwind and relax with a crunchy leaf walk through Llewellyn Garden. Sample the finest seasonal food at Florence Court's Harvest Fair. Gaze into the majestic mirror-like lake at Mount Stewart. And breathe in the beautiful garden at Castle Ward. Or delight with frightful fun on one of our trails this Halloween half-term. Come along and make wonderful memories this autumn. Search National Trust NI today.
You want a little treat but not chocolate or gelato? Check out this coffee that we made called Bravado. Sit and sip it slowly, or if you're in a rush, it tastes as good on foot or while you wait for the bus. Deliciously different. Get your new favorite cup. If you want some roasted goodness, come hit us up. Your taste buds have voted. They want a flavor that's goated. They are ready to thrive. Now Bravado's arrived. Deliciously different. Find your nearest store at bravado.com.
All innovative, all inspiring, all yours. Discover the Audi 261 range with Audi All Access at your local dealership. Join us at our nationwide open house event from October 17th to 24th and experience exhilarating test drives, unmissable offers, and exclusive product upgrades. Book a test drive with Audi All Access today. Audi. Vorsprung durch Technik.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhinney's. Our Christmas shop has now opened for all your festive shopping needs. Explore our extensive range of decorations, bedding and more in our homeware department, in-store or shop online at mcelhenneys.com today.
A dull but dry day. The chance of a little bit of drizzle. Temperatures 12 to 14 degrees. Looking like V&M. Joe Dex is the spit of Bradley Cooper. Don't tell him we said that, though. I think that Joe Dex looks like a lot of people. Bradley Cooper seems to have had a bit of work done lately. I don't know if you've seen that. I think Joe Dex looks a little bit more like Superhands from the Peep Show.
I don't even know who that is.
Come around and have a quick look here. Do you see what do you think? Do you not think he looks a wee bit like...
Maybe.
You know, like Joe's a handsome man, but every time I see him, he reminds me of Superhands. Right, okay. Let me see. I want to mention that the Clonmany Community Centre are hosting a toy sale. Puzzles and games, toys and board games. And it is tomorrow, October 18th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So that's a toy sale at the Clonmany Community Centre. A great array of puzzles and games, toys and board games as well. Go along and support them if you can. Right, what's next? As we see what's happening in the world of social media.
So there is a girly podcast hosted by Alex Cooper. It's called Call Her Daddy. Have you heard of it?
No.
But she basically, every kind of popular guest that girls would be into, she interviews them. So she's done Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy, Sarah Jessica Parker. She's done Kim Kardashian recently, Ed Sheeran, Zayn Malik, all the kind of people.
Wow, she's really getting the big names. Do I have a clip of that?
She's good. I didn't put in a clip in it,
That's
but I can
right.
put one in
No,
again.
don't you worry about that. Okay, so that's worth checking out, is it?
Yeah, but she interviewed Kim Kardashian earlier during the week, and we got a few kind of snippets into her relationship with Kanye, how she's gone forward in parenting. She made reference to her viral diamond earring moment. Do you remember that clip? It was trending for years and years and years. And actually as well, apparently Kanye would like just give away their luxury cars without like telling Kim. So at one point he gave away 5 Lamborghinis. To their friends.
Okay, there's another story about Kim Kardashian, which is a bit dodgy, but go on.
Yeah, I don't know if you're on the internet, you've probably seen them, the viral new Skims underwear, which are basically all about bringing the 70s bush back.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. Why, okay, but why would you have to do that with underwear?
See, I think she just thinks, what can I create that people will love? Like she had bras as well with nipples made into them. Okay. Which was probably good for people who've had vasectomies and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
there is that. But that they might not always want them protruding, even if they're but okay.
But
listen,
it comes in 12 shades as well. So it's a great choice.
Fantastic, brilliant. Okay. Yep, you can change things up if you want to. Okay, what's next? And maybe, hopefully, it's slightly less awkward.
I have a.
Hold on a second. Jimmy Sharkey is the image, I'm told. Hi, Jimmy Sharkey, who owns Topshop in Dunlow, is the double of Jeremy Clarkson. Where's that? Let me see. Hold on a second.
I need to come look at this too.
Oh, but he's much more handsome. He's much more handsome. But he does have a Jeremy Clarkson look to him. Well done to you, Jimmy. And go in and check him out in Topshop in Dunlow as well. All right, he does have a similarity. I think he's more handsome than Jeremy Clarkson. Hey, keep your doubles coming. That's brilliant. Okay, well done. He couldn't. Well, I mean, I suppose if he changed his hair a little bit, yeah, I can see it. All right.
Oh, I could genuinely mistake him for him.
Okay.
Genuinely.
Give us more of your doubles, preferably local. It doesn't have to be from Highland, but it'd be good crack if it is. Right, what's next?
So Westlife are reuniting for a concert.
All of them.
Not Brian McFadden.
Right, well, it's not Westlife then.
So what will we call the new group?
Just Westlife.
Westlife?
Yeah, it's not Westlife. I'm sorry, unless they all come back together where possible. It's not Westlife. And Queen touring with, is it Adam Lambert? That's not Queen either. I'm sorry. But anyway, listen, fair play to them. They will pack the stadiums out.
Oh, they will. Even a few years ago, they did the New Year's Eve concert, and we went down to it, and we were so excited. And the security said, "No, this area is full up, so you can't get through." So it was like on the streets of Dublin, so we couldn't get anywhere near them. So we just left.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
terrible.
Yeah, I didn't rate them too much on the street, but anyway, listen, they're great guys. Don't get me wrong. What else is happening?
So I have a wee clip in here as well of Robbie Williams on the Graham Norton show recently.
All right, okay, Robbie. Yeah. What do you make of Robbie?
I think he's pretty cool.
Do you want to set it up,
decent.
or shall I just play it and then we'll talk about it?
So we'll talk about it afterwards, I think.
Oh! Robbie Williams, who do you know on the couch?
No, everybody from watching them on the telly.
Okay, that's good.
And Julia Roberts, oh my God, I can't. I've watched Pretty Woman 6 times in a row. What? And at the end of the 6th time, I was like, one day, I will take a prostitute shopping. Oh. and I did. So thank you.
That's a
wow. He's very down to earth, isn't he?
And
I think he's growing old really gracefully as well.
I think all the mums love him.
Yeah.
Like in The Love Has Never Stopped. But I just think it's so funny. Out of all of the movies Julia Roberts has been in, Pretty Woman, you'd go, a love story. He's like, no, I want to take a prostitute shopping.
But he's gone in there with that line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the shtick. The only one thing I'd say about Robbie Williams and other singers as well is when they have big songs like Angel, or even there's a new song out, the new song at the moment, Sugar on My Tongue and what have you, and the performers don't sing the songs. They start it and then they put the microphone out for the audience to sing it. And if I'm going to see a singer sing a song, I want them to sing the song. I don't want to sing the song myself. It does annoy me. Robbie does a bit of that, but I'm a big fan of his.
It's all about the vibes, though, Greg.
Yeah, I suppose,
like,
but
get the crowd going.
Okay, but you want to go and hear him sing Angels.
Yes.
You know? Right, what else have you got for me?
So Diane Keaton has sadly passed away.
I was sad to hear this.
Genuinely, I felt so depressed last weekend, and I didn't even know that many of her movies. But there's been loads of people paying tribute to her, including Steve Martin. Remember, they were in the movie. I wrote it down here somewhere.
I wish I could help you. It's like having Fanula back.
Oh, I know.
My
Terrible.
word. Can't remember a thing. Anyway, listen, let's hear to a bit of Diane.
You're not funny. No way. I'm out. I'm not. Stop it. No, I'm not gonna. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. No. And don't tell me what to do. And don't tell me what to say.
That's lovely, isn't it?
And when I go out with
Just
you,
watching it, it's lovely to see people just in their prime. She's with Goldie Hawn there, and the other lady, I can't remember her name.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, that's it,
Yeah.
of course. All right, okay. May she rest in peace. But, you know, she's got a great legacy to leave behind her too, which I'm sure hopefully is a comfort to her family. So that's sad news. Can you lift our spirits a little bit before we go?
So I have a wee video in there. My sister had to tell me about this one. I hadn't seen
Which
it.
sister? The youngest or the middle one?
Middle one.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a new trend, and it's bird songs, but you pretend to be a bird
What is
perched.
this? Let's have a quick look. Yeah. Okay. So you've got your legs up, something behind you. You
Yeah,
put your
you're using your arms to crap.
Yeah. I've seen a few of them. Is it going to catch on?
I don't know, like you'd need to have a good bit of upper body strength and core strength to video that and all. But Tyg Fleming and his Daddy Dairy have done one, and then I saw Garen Noon and Protein Bore collab on one too. And then remember that song he had earlier, was it this year or more? There's no birds in the sky because they're all in my car, and he had like captioned it. Birds in the sky.
All right, that's one of those things. That's the kind of hot at the moment, right? We've time for one more.
We have time for one more. What did I not get to?
Oh, we've done it all. No, we've done it all. Yeah, because you've done all the stuff. All right, brilliant stuff. Thank
Well,
you very
I'm
much.
a celebrity. Vogue Williams is supposed to be going in there.
She is. I heard Danny O'Carroll was going into that. But
Oh.
obviously nothing ever come of it. But no,
That'd be
someone did
interesting.
mention to me.
It was his birthday as well yesterday, actually.
Right,
So
okay.
happy birthday to Danny O'Carroll.
Happy birthday! Yeah, no, nothing must have come of it, or they didn't agree terms, or whatever the thing is, or maybe it's still a surprise. I don't know. All right, then listen, you keep it up. Thanks so much, Shannon. Keeping us
you.
up to date with everything that's going on. Right, and that's where we leave it on the 9 till noon show for this week. Thank you so much for all of you, or to all of you, sorry, for listening to the show, whether it's been live on the podcast or the overnight repeat. I'm off a couple of days next week trying to get through this annual leave, so Michaela Clark will be sitting in for me. And other than that, it's business as usual. I want to thank Caroline Orr, who researched and